We welcome all, talking shit, spitballing and busting your balls. We all love Star Wars, the uniting cause, but as long as you love Lego, it ain't breaking no laws. We got guests, clock talking random topics, leaks, rumors, hot takes like psychotropics, range rankings, and of course all the latest gossip. What's your wish list? What's it gonna take to cop? Let's do a roll call of our illustrious host, hailing stateside in UK, coast to coast. Paddle on the dawn, shuffles in, packing the cake, all stiff for Austiff while he making it shake. Most vengeance here to send us back to 99. Oaktown, always down, letting love light shine. Hailing from the Emerald Isle comes Slurpy ho-ho, pot of gold at the rainbow, stop motion maestro. West Country Whittakee, thespian by night. Monthly bucks, the boys try to guess it right. Cool Han with the plan, talks the head of the pay. Cyril and Biff, Welsh Dragon, see you all at the range. So wrap this up a quick, let's get the show started. Comments in the chat, even replay gets harder. Make yourself known, so we can shout you all out. Cool Han Luke, check it out, come see what it's about. Cool Han Luke, Cool Han Luke, we about to blast off like we dropping a note. Cool Han Luke, Cool Han Luke, rock your head to these beats like you were served dope. Like a Cool Han Luke, Cool Han Luke, we about to blast off like we dropping a note. Cool Han Luke, Cool Han Luke, rock your head to these beats like you were served dope. A Lego check show to which we welcome all, talking shit, spitballing and busting your balls. We all love Star Wars, the uniting cause, but as long as you love Lego, it ain't breaking no laws. Ain't no laws, ain't no laws, ain't no laws. We got guests, crop talking random topics. Leaks, rumors, hot takes like psychotropics. Ratings, ranking, then of course all the latest gossip. What's your wish list? What's it gonna take to cop it?
No, right. Hello.
He's missing an action.
Cool Han can't even jump to his own fucking tune.
We get
There he is. Happy days.
What happened? What did you do?
It went all the way through the song, mate, and we thought we could...
Yeah, and then what?
It went to the song, and then the overlay disappeared, and we're just like unmuted and all.
No.
Yeah,
I'll have to try and teach you guys how to do it. It's there's a way of doing it. I'll show you again. Don't worry. Wait a sec.
Well, good evening, boys.
we had like 82 viewers there, and they're like, "Oh damn, no humans on call. We'll just leave."
Yeah, it's probably quite amusing when you watch back.
Mm-hmm.
You set up these new headphones.
Oh boy, here goes 10 minutes of the stream trying to check each ear to see if he can hear it all.
Well, I'll say welcome to everyone anyway. Welcome to another Super Sunday.
Yeah. I can't hear you, so without answer.
Oh dear, we can hear you.
You've got our co-host, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. Even though you said the other day co-hosts aren't recognised.
See that?
Oh,
Handling. Pure and utter handling.
It's weird though. It's how quick this week's gone, because it only feels like yesterday that I saw mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't get these to work, so I'm just gonna have to. I just have to look up a little bit.
Hello,
what?
Can you hear us?
I was saying it's been quick because it only feels like yesterday that I saw you, and of course I did.
Didn't get any of that.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna have to go and find headphones, guys, because I can't. You guys
Okay.
just have-
We'll head the stream.
we'll carry on.
no tech diffs today. Actually, True Squadron. It's just everything's working fine. I just left my headphones in work, so I haven't actually got any. And these two are like drinking violets when it comes to talking, so I can't hear bugger all.
We don't wanna
Instruction
steal your
booklet for what?
thunder.
I haven't got anything to read the instruction booklet for.
You know how to
See,
turn them on.
Did you read
They're
this?
so used to they're not mine, they're Kirsty's, so I don't even know how to use them. But
Oh.
they're so used to me having technical difficulties that even when I haven't, that's where I get blamed for. So no, I don't know how they work. They've connected to Kirsty's mobile, so I can hear her playing like Candy Crush.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh.
So you guys will
Well.
have to take it from here, and I'll have to go and try and find some other headphones.
Yeah. Okay, mate. Yeah, so welcome to the show, everyone. Obviously, tonight we've got Mark popping in sometime. Well, I think Slurpy's chatting away to someone. Yeah, so he's be coming along, and obviously we'll be talking about this year's BrickWorld and next year's. Even though somebody's not coming. Yeah.
Stinky.
Where's that? Hold on. Where's that thing? It's here somewhere, isn't it? If I can find it.
What's the sound effect? It's going to be a poo-poo effect.
No. This one. Yeah. Let down.
I'm not going to BrickWorld because BrickWorld's coming to me. We'll explain this later in the stream, guys. Stay tuned.
Well, hope you're not expecting a show because I won't be doing one from there.
Ah, no. The Cool Han Whittakee show.
Um,
It's kind of fun.
Yeah, so welcome everyone. Like I've said, probably 1,000 times now.
Yeah, no. Thanks everyone
That's
for.
So, yeah, I mean, I know we're going to talk more about it next week, but yeah, obviously I went to BrickFest yesterday and bumped into Martin, so it was nice. And Joel from Joel's Bricks,
Yeah.
he was there, so it was quite nice. Just a nice day trip. Got on the coach, lovely. Can't believe how cheap it is.
What, public transport or the actual festival?
No, the coach. Well, yeah, the festival is pretty cheap because it's pretty cheap. The only good thing about the Cardiff one is that at the same time you've got the Comic-Con going on the next door, and if you pay for one, you can get into the other one for free. So
Did that happen last year too? Yeah. Was that
yeah,
the
it does
same?
it. It's every time at the Cardiff. Like next week, I'm going to another one in Weston, Supermare, to do work though, so I'm getting paid for it, so that's fine. But that's just a convention, so it's
Stop clickbaiting people, Whiskey.
What? I don't know what.
We're here to talk about BrickWorld. You cannot mention BrickFest. It's a conflict of interest.
I was only just. Well, that's not clickbaiting, is it?
It is, because I told people it was a BrickWorld thing. So,
No, I did say. I said while we're waiting, I was just going to say that I saw you yesterday. I was just making small talk, mate.
Don't say it.
Okay.
You've spoiled it now for next week. You've ruined it. Spoiler.
No.
Oh, our next week's guest was going to be Cool Han and Whittakee to talk about BrickFest Cardiff.
Actually, I've got 2 guests lined up for next week, but I'm surprised Martin didn't tell you those either.
Because I don't know. That's why.
Well, I did introduce one of them to you.
You said he may be.
Yeah.
And then he said, "Oh yeah, I have to get back to you." So
had to get my dad's permission now, or
no.
Now everybody knows. Now everybody knows it's a he. Great, ruined it. That could be 50% of the people in the world now.
Yeah. Next. Anyway.
Oh shit.
And anyway, some bad news.
And anyway,
I'm not here next week.
Oh yeah, he's not here next week anyway, so we can't.
Well, why? What happened?
Well, I will be, but it's I'm on a late. I haven't been on a late for ages on a Sunday, so I can't get out. Yeah.
Today was supposed to be one of the last days me doing the show, like in full, like so. Cool Han might have to head it. We'll see.
Sorry, Austiff. I totally blanked. I was trying to do a million things at once, and Whittakee was talking to me about all sorts of other nonsense, so I couldn't focus. Wait a sec.
No, it's
Senti.
Check your DMs. Scroll past all those illicit.
I was in your topless nice and early to sort out my technical difficulties, and got embroiled in a conversation about Whittakee trying to sleep on the coach. But yeah,
Look, I can confirm that we did see Cool Han shirtless. I can also confirm.
you sort out BrickWorld anyway.
And again, scared.
Yeah,
Friend.
because first time anyone realized that I don't actually have any nipples. Wait, hey, speaking of nipples,
you don't have nipples?
mate, you weren't in on that
And
conversation. So you don't get the full deets.
Dang, dude.
How's it
So
going?
you'd find out if you came across the Bricktastic like you were originally planning to, you may find out, mate.
Oh,
So,
mate,
did
don't clickbait. Don't clickbait.
So Whittakee's saying the cost of admission's dirt cheap. Is it just the cost of your nipples?
Yeah,
Do they just like stand there in a line with a knife and just go?
they got like nipple clamps, you know.
Oh,
and just
damn.
kind of like
So you guys are freaky over there.
can confirm.
Yeah.
Dang, so. Dang.
anyway, what's happening, mate? How's it going?
It's
How's
going.
everybody doing?
Oh, we're doing all right, you know. It was funny when you texted me. I was walking to the grocery store and I was like, "Man, oh, cool." And then it's like raining nonstop here, which is nothing new for you guys. But
Nah, but we just have to wait 10 minutes and the weather changes, you know.
same here.
Yeah,
Like I woke up this morning, it was 82 degrees, and now it's 58, raining. Then it's gonna get down to 32 tonight with frost warning in effect. Welcome to
Damn.
Ohio. Weather, you can have all 4 seasons in a day.
Tremendous.
I didn't do
Mhm.
Fahrenheit.
Yes, but yeah, I've become the fart master as one.
What?
Yeah,
speaking of which,
because you guys are talking about nipples, and then as I heard that, I just changed to fart.
Well, technically, Martin was talking about nipples. Maybe not less.
You guys are partaking in the. Oh yeah, Kennedy, it's getting cold. The other night, it
getting
was
cold in
32.
here.
It's not just Cool Han, it's Cool Han and the gang. They get roped into all this mess.
But
And you still turn up every week, like.
Good crack. On the
I
drug
love
too.
it, I love it. So why don't we
Drew
why
us a
don't we
chat?
get out? Yeah, why don't we get out the old
Yeehaw.
rhinestone, the assless chaps and the cowboy hats and the last
Yeah,
the last
dude.
suits.
next year's BrickWorld, Kennedy's not ready, but I'm gonna be wearing assless chaps in the room.
Nice leather.
Oh no. I might go now.
No, I'm gonna do some pleather. You know, gotta be
Leather?
nice. Pleather.
That's
Gotta
gonna
be-
last. That's gonna last one stretch.
Fake
No,
leather.
I want to be nice to the animals.
Cool.
What can I say?
just offend all the humans instead.
Yep. Vic, you know what? Y'all ain't good enough to see my ass in leather.
God damn.
Gotta prove it.
Got no answer to that, I'm afraid.
No way.
For once,
Right.
I'm stunned. So I'm going to cue up the music, and I'll just.
Hell yeah, let's go. Uno, dos, tres.
Quattro, cinco, seis.
Let's do it.
Banner. Oh, there it is. Yeehaw! You got the cowboy hat and the boots.
Okay, good evening. Right, we'll start off with Nimble Saucepan. Boys. Good evening.
Yeah.
Hope you're well. Jake, missing you. How are you? You got Lightning Lord. Football hype starting up already. Oh, yeah. There's a Brick Dynasty. Is it tuned yet? No. He's here in person.
Hell yeah. Who's that guy?
But
Where
where
is
is
he
howdy
from?
howdy? Good evening. We got 3 Squadron. Yo. Nice to see to you. Same old. Good evening to MatteBlackBricks. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Good to see you. Anyone else? You've got Limbo, you've got Austiff, you've got Truth Squadron. I don't think there's anyone else new at the moment. Good evening, Matt Lee.
Oh, man, how you doing, boy?
Never be sorry, mate. It's always great. And hopefully you're having a great weekend too. You've got Lightning Lord, you've got Ken here again.
Hi.
Good evening, Ken.
What's up, Ken?
And then you've got, he's in the room as well. We've got, Cool Han Luke Bricks. Whittakee's my favourite. Oh, that's nice. Thanks, mate.
I don't remember doing that.
And that's it. That's it for the moment. But of course, if anyone else comes in, I will say I'll give a shout out and yeah.
Man, I feel like
Damn.
I'm one step
Right.
away from walking into a saloon.
Oh.
Damn, boy, you smell like a sack full of assholes.
I'm sorry, Martin, but if I write anything on here, it comes up that you writ it.
You really?
Oh, yeah.
God damn, that was a ride. I tell you, my ass is from the back of that horse. Jesus, my ass is bruised.
I'm sure it's
Anyway.
not from just a horse.
Especially for our American friend.
Yeah, no, yeah, what a ride.
No, I still
What a
don't
ride.
understand it because I put down for that soft rock and it came up with that. So there you go.
Mm.
But I thought it was amusing. That's why I left it.
So I'm gonna dip in with some early any news, any goss, and that is the greatest thing happened to me this week. I checked off a massive thing off my bucket list. You want to know what it is?
Building
You
a
saw
Lego
me
set.
yesterday.
I finally got to see Muttley's face.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like
I'm so glad you said face.
yeah. Well, and head and shoulders. So
Oh.
sorry, neck and shoulders. So, but yeah, so it was nice to be able to put a face and a voice to the name and meet Muttley in person. I won't say the real. I won't drop the real name, but yeah, nice to meet you in person, Muttley. Sorry you had to battle against the sound of Welsh announcements at the train stop and trains piling by and drunkards. But it's just another day in Wales, mate, at the train station. But yeah, it was good, mate. And obviously, you know, we were talking about another brick event, which shall not be named on this stream while we got BrickWorld on the agenda. But the plans are coming together slowly, and it's going to be a UK. The UK contingent is all going to be meeting up at said festival. So, but yeah. So if you're in the UK and you're not in the know, and you want to attend the next best thing to BrickWorld, please reach out to me on Instagram and join the collective. Slowly growing, but yeah, so nice to meet Muttley. But other than that, any other news? Any other goss?
No, just shout out to Papa Rex. He's just popped in. Evening.
I have hair now.
No. Well, I have got some news.
It's been
But
good.
good. Lego, Martin. I'm going to need your help as well. Yeah, this is an exclusive.
Oh, here we go.
I do need your help, Martin. They want me, as you know, I do drama. Yeah. They want me to do my part in a Welsh accent, so I'm going to need your help.
Okay, which version?
I don't know. Whichever's
There's about
easier easier to actually do. The thing is with accents is that I can do like, you know, it's keeping it going. That's the thing. It's
Yeah,
The consistency.
And then
It's
also
good, yeah.
sometimes with Welsh it can go into other languages. Yeah,
Gobbledygook.
bollocks, yeah. I
Gobbledygook.
mean, I can do a
Yeah,
Bristol
other
accent
accents.
for a bit, but you can't. It's hard to keep it, you know, maintain it for like long. Oh, guys, we've just had our guest appear in the green room. Oh, and he's sleeveless as well tonight. Oh, that's what I'd like to see.
Oh, I want to see those guns.
Now I really want to go away and cut the sleeves off my BrickWorld hot pink t-shirt. And is it hot pink? No, it's not really hot pink, is it? And wear that for the rest of the stream. But so look, guys.
I might roll up my legs.
Yeah. So this guy I put in the description. Mark Larson, aka BrickWorld Mark, aka Chief Brick Officer. But yeah, so we've got him here tonight. He's been on the list of people I'd want to get on the show for a long time, and kind of almost fell into my lap, which was great because I don't know where the conversation started, but he kind of offered to come on the show, and I was like, wow, great. So it's with great pleasure that we add to the panel the legend,
Hello,
the chief,
Fuki.
Hey.
Woohoo!
How's it going, everybody? Thanks for having me on.
Good evening.
Hey, thanks for being here, mate. I really appreciate it. We're honored, absolutely honored. And I think the timing is almost, I'd say, not that there was a bad time for you to come on, but it's kind of perfect because BrickWorld 2026 tickets have kind of launched.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can let us know where we're up to in terms of that. Bookings.
I'll have to look it up myself, but
but we can just do a kind of early sense check and also get to know you as well a little bit as well, because I feel like, not to say other people have done this, but I don't want to just kind of pigeonhole you to BrickWorld and everything about BrickWorld. I want to find out about you, how it started, and yourself in the community. And you know, obviously BrickWorld is your kind of, you know, a massive feather in the cap, obviously.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice to get to know you as well as a person. And I've also brought some items along with me as a kind of I don't know what I want to call them, but some because I know you're a huge
is that Papa Rex?
You're a huge
Pookie?
Animal Crossing fan.
Yeah, I sure am.
Let's have a look.
It's my particular brand of escapism. Let's see if I see.
Brand of escapism. I love it.
So these are the items I've brought for my my Mark show and tell. So I own an Animal Crossing minifigure, or the household owns an Animal Crossing minifigure.
Yeah. That's probably the best Animal Crossing set they've produced, and that is one of my favorite characters that they've produced for sure. Celeste is awesome.
She's a queen.
Is that Audi? Or no, that's what's his name? Dobie.
I think it's some kind of snow fox or something. I don't know a lot about this, but a friend of Kirsty's made this for her. This is
nice.
crochet. And
that's really well done.
Kirsty taught this girl how to crochet.
Oh wow!
In a couple of sessions, and within a couple of weeks, she sent Kirsty this, and it's like blows away anything Kirsty's been able to do. So that was a great idea. So I saw that as I was just about to jump on the stream, and I was like, I've got to show Mark this. He'll appreciate. The only person, I guess, that I've probably ever met outside of this household who would appreciate that. So
yeah, nice.
And then this is the best one, because you'll appreciate this in two senses, hopefully.
Oh wow! Is that
so? This is a cross stitch of Tom Nook as RuPaul.
Oh god! Wow, that's very niche.
Mark, you need that on a shirt.
Now, actually, I do cross stitch, but this wasn't by me. This was by the same girl who did this.
Nice.
So I just saw those items, and I was like, he's going to appreciate those. So
yeah,
trying to distance yourself from them.
No, that cross stitch is up on the wall in my living room usually. So
that's awesome.
But no, we're a massive.
Cool. Thanks for sharing those.
We're a massive Animal Crossing household. When Horizons landed, we bought our Switch specifically for that, and we were all like, me, my daughter, and my fiance Kirsty, we were all kind of obsessed with it. And I know you're a big Animal Crossing guy, so I also want to get into your, I think you call it BrickWorld Crossing, which is kind of your. Is that the name of the stream?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I couldn't right. I wasn't able to find the actual name of the stream as such, because I also seen another one called Mock Under the what was the name? It may have been like a sub category that you had. It was called like BrickWorld Mark or something like that. I can't remember. So I was just like,
think outside the blocks.
Think outside the blocks. That was it.
Yeah, that's the name of our Sunday night live stream, which I'm creating the thumbnail for. It's been kind of a hectic weekend here, but I'll go ahead and drop a I'll drop a link to our YouTube channel in the chat, and people can check that out if they're into Animal Crossing or if they're into Lego. Our Sunday night stream is based on we share the progress on our mocks and talk about building techniques and kind of critique each other. And we'll have Lene, the Brick Babe, will be on tonight, showing us her creations. And then Wednesday nights we do the Animal Crossing stream, which is sometimes I talk about designing the game and design a new area or redesign an area, and sometimes we just we're just silly and not a lot happens. The last couple of weeks we've visited. We had Lene visit my island, and then I went and visited Lene's island, and it's just us basically being goofy for a couple hours in the wee hours in the morning, even for us. We started at 11 p.m. Central. That was part of the issue today. Is like you said you think it's 2 p.m. I even said in my head, I'm like, I think it's 1 p.m. But I didn't commit myself to that. And then today when I saw it was 2 p.m. Eastern, I live in Central time zone, so I'm at the dog park, and I'm like, I'm an idiot. And I meant to put on my pink shirt too. We could have matched. And when he was just like, oh, and he's got a sleeveless shirt on, I was like, oh, I forgot to change. Like, time zones are rocket science, and I'm a bit behind the 8 ball here today, but still happy to be here. Glad I at least made it.
Well, at least we can see the arm hair has grown back.
Yes, the shoulder hair is definitely back there. Yes, I don't plan to ever do that on a live stream ever again.
Mark,
so close to live shaving my back.
Mark, we both have hair now.
I know. I'm actually going to get it did in a couple weeks. Go back to my stylist for the first time in 6 months.
Oh, slay.
Oh, Jesus. What's one of those?
I had right. Yeah, I know. I'd finally gotten myself to like an age appropriate faux hawk. And I loved where my hair was, and then I was just like, "Let's shave it for charity." And a couple drinks will do that to you. But yeah, there we have it.
That seemed like a lot. That seemed like a lifetime ago now.
Why are you? Sorry, how are you doing that?
It's on a. If you have a Mac, it's a reaction. So yeah, you got to be on a MacBook.
So we've got the top row has got not only have the top row not got any style, but also got no stylist.
It was my favorite Slurpy. Just you like, can I do it like that? And just like the anticipation and the joy on your face, like I can make hearts too, and then you couldn't. It's just
not happening.
I'll do it for you. All right, Slurpy.
Oh, I love it.
You gotta catch it. We
got all sorts of things that we could do.
Oh.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
My internet can't handle this. Sorry.
Yeah. You need to wind up that potato, mate. Jesus. So look, we'll get into it since we kind of already have head first. But I think we'll start from. I think it makes sense to kind of start from the bottom, guys. In the chat, questions for Mark, please get them in the chat. But can you?
I like that one. Austiff.
And put it as like question for Mark, just so it stands out a little bit, and then Whittakee will throw them up on the screen when he sees them, and then obviously we can get him to answer. So, particularly if you're not a BrickWorld alumni, you're thinking of coming.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can. I mean, I think we did our bit in trying to hype it. I know it was ACOB's kind of backdoor. That's a dodgy way of saying it. But it's kind of it's more like their backyard, but we kind of did our bit as well. And we'll continue to do that, even if we don't end up going next year. We'll continue to do that. So.
Awesome, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, and this is, from what I understand, this is the Welsh ACOB, so appropriate for you to take the mantle of.
I'm sure the English and the Irishmen up here won't appreciate you saying that, Max. But,
I'm quoting Cool Han here. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't ever remember saying that.
British ACOB.
So, okay, we can say that the European ACOB.
That works.
Okay, cool. Good, redeemed. Whew, can I stay?
or we're just the UKS. I don't like the kind of comparison thing, but that's a good comparison to make. Definitely, I saw.
Well, I would say I won't do it again. I thought that's what you called yourself at some point. I must be telling myself a story. So I will not be saying that again.
I think
I have to say,
Well, I
I've
think-
never called myself the Welsh.
Well, I don't ever remember calling myself that either, but I'm pretty sure somebody referred to us as that while Mark was in the stream.
There we go.
And I tried to sort of say, "Oh, hang about, no, I'm whatever it was." No, actually, I'll tell you what it was. Somebody called us the English ACOB, and I went, "Whoa, whoa, 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 I'm Welsh."
There we go.
And
That
then-
makes sense.
So
Okay.
I think it was that.
Yeah.
But
Don't call me-
somebody
don't
said
call
it
me
at
that.
BrickWorld last year. Some man came up to me and he said, "Oh, are you the British ACOB?" I was like, "Well, we're British."
Whoa.
We'll take it. We'll take it. You know, we live in the
We're the
shadows,
We're the
but we live in the
GMT
shadows of
time
giants. So
zone ACOB.
I will
Nice.
say,
Yeah, absolutely.
just quickly say for advertising, because I'm not allowed to say where, but I was at some convention yesterday, and quite a few people noticed my hat with, and they were asking, they were asking me, and they were asking me what it was, and I honestly, I was like, I highly recommended it. I told them they got to go, so I just
Nice.
A couple of people asked me, and
That's awesome.
he said, "Is it worth?" I said, "Yeah, definitely." I said, "Well, it's I said I'm going back next year, so it's obviously it's worth it." So
Love it. Thank
so
you.
there you go. I was plugging it
Nice.
yesterday.
Good. I appreciate that a lot.
Well, look, guys, questions for Mark. Whittakee, keep a lookout for him. And Slurpy, are you able to log into the? Oh, you can't do it. I have to do it, don't I? I was going to say because I just want to pin. I want to pin Mark's comment to the top of the chat. And what I have done for anybody watching this on replay, go in the description. The links for Mark's Instagram.
Oh yeah.
And YouTube channel are there anyway,
Nice.
and they're live to just click in the description. So, but I will
Thank
just
you.
quickly add that link as a pin so that it stays on top. She said.
We do have a question here, but Austiff, don't you just want to ask him it, or do you want?
I say.
I'm just a dude, and I'm just kind of here. But if I can ask Mark my question,
Go on,
I'll
I'll put it
try.
out there. There you go.
Mark, are you ready for your question?
I'm ready for my question.
Right. So what
Question
makes
for
you
Mark.
always such a beautiful soul that makes you so loving and giving and willing to always be there for people? Thank you, Pookie. That's from him. for being that person for me. From
Well,
Austiff.
you're welcome, Pookie, and thank you for being my Pook as well. Yes, absolutely. This is I'll field this one. This is kind of like this is one of the reasons that the previous owners asked me to buy the business, is because I had good connection with the community, and I have a tendency to find something good in everybody. That is kind of also at the same time a fault, a defense. That I've had my entire life, kind of a people pleaser. I've done a lot of research into this sort of stuff, and like being the youngest and like coming into a family dynamic, and wanting it always to be that way and always be that comfort. I try to make people happy, which has made owning the business sometimes difficult. When I have to have difficult conversations, I'm not used to that. I'm not good at that. So like when we've got to talk to somebody about violating rules and like say that they're suspended from the show, and I have to be the one that has that conversation. I suck at that sort of thing, and so it's been hard pivoting to this leadership position instead of just being like somebody who was more of a like a community leader, just on with no obligation to the brand. It was a lot easier to just be myself and make people feel happy whenever I could. And there's times where I need to make sure that people know that I'm not happy with them, which is not something I'm good at expressing. So there's a bit of a dichotomy to it, and sometimes it doesn't. Owning the business, and especially when I'm at the show and I'm on the floor, sometimes it's hard to find that still, and sometimes it feels disingenuine even. So I appreciate that that's what you see, because I don't always necessarily see it anymore. I'm just kind of like I feel like I've become less fun since I own the company. But like,
that's actually
fun.
I was going to say that's a great place, because I know that kind of describes a little bit about how it started. But I was just going to say my question really would be, because I remember you talking on a stream recently. You were talking about how you attended. I don't know how many times did you attend before you actually ended up buying the business?
I've been there every year. So let's see. I've done 22. I had to do this 22, 23, 24, 25. I've done 4. There's been 17. So I went 13 times before.
Wow.
I purchased
So what would you say? And just to go back a little bit to what you said about somebody talked you into buying the business. So how did that actually start?
So it's there's two founders of the company. It's Brian Bonahum and Adam Reed Tucker, and they got to the point where Brian bought Adam out, and Brian owned it for a number of years by himself. He and his wife ran the company. His wife ran most of the company. Let's be honest. And Brian worked on business development and like keeping up relationships. And a lot of the stuff I'm trying to do all at once is one person now. And so I was in California. I was working for Legoland. It's the only 4 years of my life I've lived outside of Chicago.
Wow.
And my dad passed away very suddenly from an aneurysm. And it became very important for me to get back to Chicago because I didn't like the family not being together when that happened. And I also didn't like the West Coast very much. No offense to anyone watching from the West Coast here, the West Coast of the U.S., that is. Being Midwesterner, things were very different. And I wasn't very happy there in my social life. I loved my job. Working for Legoland was awesome. But I was ready to get out of there for many reasons. And so I was looking for work, and I ended up working for Adam Reed Tucker, who was a Lego certified professional at the time. So I was working for him, and that started to become very stressful, not working with my lifestyle, I would say. And so I was looking to get away from doing that. The sort of like commission base of like, here, you're going to do a project that gets you, $3,000, but then you're not going to have a project for a couple months. Was really making it difficult for me to be consistent and contribute to the household. I was living with my now husband at the time. We weren't even engaged yet. And I was just like, I can't just live off my boyfriend. It didn't feel great. So I was looking to, I'd gone back and gotten a second degree in marketing. And I ended up, Brian Bonahum called me and was like, hey, we're looking to retire. And we want to sell you the business. And I was like, okay, thanks. And I got off the phone and I was just like, whatever. Like I was like, these two, I associated the two of them together, and I didn't want to work for Adam anymore. No offense to Adam. It just wasn't working for me. And I was just like, I'm not going to now go back into another Lego career when I'm trying to get into a marketing firm and do this. I want Lego to be a hobby. And I had known the Bonahums for a long time, and I did a lot of work for them. I was the mock card coordinator. I was the program coordinator. I did the artwork for the show. And then I started helping them with marketing because they were able to market their shows just by posting on Facebook and having people share it. Like that, and that got it like spread to enough people, as back in the days when Facebook was the only social media game. And that was starting to change. And so I was helping them with that. And I know that there was other people that they had considered over the years, because Brian would always talk to me about it, about who he was considering. And I was just like, what, he's just throwing a pool of people out there and we're supposed to compete with each other? I'm like, I don't have time for this. And so probably like 3 months later, he called and he's just like, hi. He's like, we want to sell you the business. Do you have an opinion on this? I'm just like, oh, you want to sell it to this person and this person. What am I supposed to do? Compete? And he's like, no. He's like, it's been years since I said those things. He's like, we've landed on you, and like, you just let us know now, because we'll figure out who from there. But he's like, you're plan A here. And he's just like, well, no, I offered it to my nephew because I always said I would, but he was not interested. So just, to be completely clear, I did offer it to my nephew first. And he's like, but you're the person we think is right. So I talked to my boyfriend about it at the time. Boy, were we married yet? No, we were not. And we just kind of like came up with like, this is probably the best thing for you. Everything know about marketing, compared with this, where I'd gone from being a designer at Legoland to being a project manager, art director. It's just kind of like, you kind of have all the pieces, and it's just like, why do you not see this as perfect for you? And I was just like, because I wanted to get away from Lego as a career. And he's just like, well, also, this sounds like, the schedules, you do 4 or 5 shows a year, then you have all this other time off, which, by the way, isn't true. There's really no time off of this. And so that's how and we took a couple years. I transitioned to an employee of BrickWorld. I was the first person they hired outside of the husband and wife team, and I worked on their marketing. I did all the shows, just to get an idea of how everything operated. Made some relationships with the people who were working for them, and his college roommate still works for me. And I was telling someone the other day, like his college roommate and his college roommate's wife still work for the shows, and they're just like, "Oh, it's amazing that the wife went with you as well." And I was just like, "Oh, she didn't start working. She never worked for Brian. She's only worked for me because she was she's a chemical engineer, and so she worked for a pharmaceutical company. She's very high up, very very intelligent person." But one of the driest senses of humor in the entire world. I love Martha Elzer so much. And so she just started coming with him to shows since he was doing them anyway. And she works they're in their 60s now and they do all of our logistics. These people are lifting things all day, every day. They help me load and unload the truck, just amazing people. So I've had a lot of support and have needed it because the purchase happened in August of 2019. I was able to do a couple shows in the fall, and then the big shows start in the spring. And summer, of course, with Chicago. Indianapolis is a big expo that we do. And so I was really looking forward to, because we did it as an asset purchase, I was really looking forward to getting some money in the bank. And then the pandemic happened, and then we had to cancel shows for a year and a half, and we canceled Chicago for 2 years. That's why next year will be the 20th anniversary of BrickWorld, but it'll only be the 18th show.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So many questions. So many questions.
Yeah.
So, what I want to try and sort of deduce, and I didn't realize how much was involved in that, because I always had this impression that BrickWorld was the same thing as we saw, but maybe, perhaps a little bit more low key, and you kind of took it over and just took it to greater heights. I didn't realize, because you're saying that the people, you're the first person to be employed outside of the family. So that means that originally that couple were doing everything.
Yeah.
So what kind of scale was the show on at that point in comparison to now?
It's definitely grown since the pandemic. Something happened during the pandemic where people were like, we miss BrickWorld. And it blew up in 2022. And then with, influencers are a new thing. I think they really blew up during the pandemic as well. A lot of Lego influencers came out of the pandemic, because what else are we going to do? And Lego became such a big brand. And so a lot of influencers came to 2022 and hyped it up. And then 2023 was even bigger. And then it just keeps it's grown exponentially from there. All bubbles burst. So I'm really knocking on wood with this. But people started to know more about it. More people started to come. And we have the capacity there. It's always been a big show for international travel because we're right in the middle of the summer. Scandinavia has 6 weeks off because it's, they have 23 hours of daylight in the middle of the summer. And so it's always been a good week for everybody to come. It's in a centralized location. It's easy to get to from pretty much anywhere. So we get people who come from Australia. We get people who come from Japan. We get people who come from, Europe and South America and all over the place. We've had people come from Russia. And so I think the scale of it was, if the first BrickWorld was in a 15,000 square foot ballroom, and I know it's hard to do this when we're talking metric and what do we call ours, imperial or something like that. But for comparison, we're now in 125,000 square feet at the Renaissance. And so it grew on its own over the years, and they actually had to break their contract with the Westin to move over to the Renaissance. And the first year they did the show at the Renaissance, which would have been 2013, they only had 1/3 of the hall. They went from whatever they had, I know. They went from I don't know what they had eventually, because they ended up getting all the ballrooms at the Westin. So they had, significantly more than the 15,000 feet, but it was only 30,000 square feet. And they ended up with 50,000 square feet at the Renaissance. And then the second year they did 2/3 of the hall. And then finally in 2015, they went to the entire hall, which was enormous. But they had the capacity for it because people were interested. So it was growing in that way already. And then and people have given me credit for this, and in being a show that welcomes the influencers in, but I think all shows are doing it. We just kind of said what we did is we created Influencer Alley because people were requesting display space to do their podcasts from, and we can't have that on the floor. We need all those tables for displays. And so like we did a couple like podcast booths up front in 2022, and then in 2023 we started the Influencer Alley, which I will always call it that. And it's kind of like people want it to be called like Creator Corner or whatever. I'm just kind of like,
I think it's so funny because it's in a corner and it's nowhere near an alley. Like,
hey, I live in Chicago. There's some pretty narrow alleys in places.
No, Mark. Sorry, Slurpy, go on.
No, it was so fun. And then, like, I just imagine if we had done our podcast in the middle of the floor. Oh, BrickWorld would have failed, you know.
Between like a Blacktron display and a Classic Castle display, like it just would have been a little odd. I don't know if the public would have known really what to do with it. And plus, like the having the power and the power drops and the internet available for people. And like that was the first thing they asked. They're like, "Well, do you have internet?" And I'm just like, "Oh no, I'm sorry. The wireless for the entire event costs $130,000. So we won't ever have a wireless for the entire event. $130,000 for."
Price of a house here.
Yeah,
I can buy a whole ass house.
Yeah,
but Austiff, can you stream? Are you able to?
I'm sure I could probably stream inside of a house for $130,000.
That's what I liked when I went this year. Sorry, last one was that you had the stage there, so people could get up and do the show. Like obviously ACOG does quite a bit there, but we got up, we did a few shows, other people did it. It was nice to have that area to do that. So thank you.
Yeah, and it's very not hit or miss, but there's mixed reactions to having like the influencers there. And I do like calling them the influencers because I want them to remember that no matter how many followers they have, they do have influence. Like we do have a responsibility. The things we say, people listen and people take them in certain directions. So you are influencers if you like it or not. But like I've had a lot of feedback that like the influencers just keep to themselves and they're cliquey, and I'm just like, yeah, but did you try to go talk to them? Because they're very into the community, they're very into talking to people, they love people, they love the community. So maybe just go try to introduce yourself. And at the same time, there are many different types of Lego fans, and influencers are Lego fans, and we're just like, well, this is post-pandemic, this is a new world. So my initial thought was like, well, we've got a lot of influencers now, so we have to start making space for them because they're also AFOLs. So that was like my simple thought on the entire thing. And, some people don't like it. And I, sorry for that. But they are certainly a welcome part of the community at BrickWorld. So
I was going to say, most of them came out and spoke to me, not the other way around,
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And they are, they may appear cliquish at times because they all know each other. They're going to stick together, and like attracts like. They understand what it's like to be. We have the same issue happen with Lego Masters contestants. We do the panels with them. We offer them if they're working on any of the presentations or the panels, we use their images for marketing. So we pay for the registration. I should probably be saying this much about it, but. People have had the same reaction to them, that they stick together. I'm like, well, they went through a traumatic experience together. They went through a reality television filming together. They all know what it's like. They stick together because they know the experience, and they have something in common. They have that in common, so they're going to have a base for that. But it doesn't mean that's the only people they're talking to. They also most of them started in the community and were AFOLs before they were celebrities, and they're just people. They're just people, and if you go up and say hello to them, they will most likely say hello back. Mm-hmm. Can't guarantee that they will.
At the end of the day,
I can attest to that.
The same thing, aren't we? For Lego, we're all there for whether you're influenced or not. We're all there for Lego.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't have any problems with anyone. No, fine.
Well, like people saying like, "Oh, stay in the cliques." Like, I mean, you're going to stay with people you have more in common with. Like, the only reason Cool Han and Whittakee stayed with me was I was the only person who could understand them.
No, it's not because of that, mate. It's because we were glory seeking, because we knew you were on for an award, so we got to hang around with an award winner here. So, but no, I do want to get onto that as well and just talk a little bit about the different sort of accolades and stuff like that at BrickWorld. But also want to try and make sure that we're, giving you a chance to talk about your own story rather than just, how that lines up. So
we do have some questions, like, too.
There's a question from Muttley here, but
yeah.
Oh, go.
There we go. If you weren't into Lego, what would you be into?
Oh God. Well, there's we've already said Animal Crossing. One of the things I found, I went to an art school. I went to the Art Institute of Chicago for my marketing degree, and we got to basically do whatever we wanted. So I did a bunch of graphic design classes, and I built everything out of wood in a CNC machine and a laser cutter. So all my professors were like, "Yeah, if you want to build this physically instead of doing like a newspaper, yeah, great, do whatever you want." And so it was very kind of freeing. And so to kind of fulfill all my credits, I took a bunch of art classes as well. And I had painted when I was younger, but like getting into drawing again and getting into painting was kind of like the something I would do if I was made out of time, for sure. And then the other thing that, like, if you go and look at my YouTube history, you'll see a lot of animal videos. You'll see a lot of baseball videos, football and hockey as well. But there's something about baseball videos that I just find so interesting. I love all three sports, but like it's so interesting to watch baseball highlights. It can be sometimes boring to watch an entire game, but just some of the athleticism in baseball is insane. The way they can just with such a small projectile, I don't know, and I like the sportsmanship in baseball. The teams seem to, for the most part, get along with each other, like during a game, joke around with each other. I love that sort of shit. So that's kind of like, in a nutshell, those are like all the other hobbies I have are like sports, dogs, and art.
Mark, we should catch a baseball game one day.
Oh, 100%. Who's your team?
Baltimore.
Okay.
But
well, I went to see.
Oh, sorry.
Go on, Austiff. Go on.
Get them playing the Sox.
Before I forget, I've always had this question. Anytime I go to ask you, I automatically forget it. So I wrote it down. So when you walk into the beautiful palace that is the Rennie,
yeah,
when you go into the foyer where they usually have all the flowers, the Orbeez, it's so cute.
The Orbeez?
Yeah, I was taking handfuls of those Orbeez and put them in my pocket. There's. They were just like because it was so hot in Chicago at the time of year, and there's Orbeez.
It was so hot in Chicago
cold.
that he wanted sticky balls.
They were just like ice cold, and it was just very nice and refreshing.
Oh my!
Say I lower the tone.
But there's this beautiful plaque right by the side door when you come into the main entry. I can't remember for the life of me the first name, but it says Larson on there. Are you related to this said Larson?
No, and I have no idea what you're talking about, actually.
What?
Yeah, it's a very common name in the Midwest.
Oh.
A lot of Swedish came here.
Well,
but Mark Larson is actually a very common name in the Midwest. Most people I meat are like, "Oh, I know a Mark Larson." I'm like, "Yeah."
Is it Swedish then? Is it the name?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. So.
In my lineage, anyway, it's a Scandinavian. They're Larsons in all well, except for Finland. But the and they all spell it differently. Like I think the original spelling of our name was Larsin or Larsin. It just depends on like when they got to Ellis Island. They were like, "Oh, well, that means you're the son of Lars, so we're just going to put it in English and say that you're Larson, Larson." And then for some reason, Norwegians are the en. I'm not sure what made that difference and what their initial spellings were, but yeah, it's kind of fascinating to go to Scandinavia, and people see your name on a reservation or whatever, and everyone has a comment about your lineage. It doesn't really happen here. It's actually people in when I was in college, people would ask like. Does anyone or people would ask my friends like, "What's Larson's last name?" Because that's what people referred to me as in college was Larson. Like Larson is his last name. They're like, "Oh, well, what's his first name?" Like,
yeah, well, I got to apologize in advance because at some point during the promotion for this stream and possibly the others, I may have started your name with a C instead of a K.
You did, but you did, in the same banner. You said Mark Larson with a K, and then you said BrickWorld Mark with a C, and I was just like, oh,
yeah, because in Welsh there's no K, see, so Mark is spelled with a C here. But
yeah, we talked about that.
I know about 4 Marks who've got this. I spell it that way.
Don't worry about it. How many times have I misspelled people's names? Blimey.
That's why I always say you can't trust the ones who spell it with a C unless they're Welsh. And now I have to append it since you told me that last time I was on.
I feel like I need to probably start doing this every week now, because last week we had Christ, who did we have on last week?
We had
MatteBlackBricks, right? MatteBlackBricks, and I made the mistake in the description then of putting he's the Bert to Keith's Bert instead of.
Did you mean Ernie?
Yeah. So I was going to edit it, and I thought, no, I'll leave it in there for jokes. So yeah, so we're just a running joke now of what idiocy there is with me. But
I love it.
Before I move on, just want to give a quick shout out to Superhawk Bricks. I believe
yes,
the stream, and appreciate you coming here, and Chef T, who we know Chef T very well. Might be the first time in the chat, so appreciate you popping along. There he is, naked bird.
He's been in a couple of times, Chef T.
We had pancakes with him.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I know. We had pancakes. What was it called? Wildberries.
Yeah.
Oh, Wildberry. Yeah.
And I did a shout out to Smoke Smokes and Lego Team B. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I did want to say, Superhawk made a comment that they hang out with all those groups, and that is 100% true. Superhawk clicks with everyone for sure. Love them. So they do all of our expos as well. They're in charge of our interactive area. Just recently became in charge of it. I was just like, all right, anybody has any questions, they go to Josh and Lindsay. Like, enough. And they also manage my Instagram. So I got a text yesterday from Josh that Cool Han is texting you about tomorrow's show, and I was like, I forgot. This is the first week, so we did our Fort Wayne last week, and then this is my first week to like decompress from the entire season, and I did a good job at that. I slept all week, and things have been really hectic here because my husband is traveling, so we've been juggling around the dogs between our friend and me. So I was like, I had it on my calendar even. I just hadn't opened my calendar all week.
It happens, man. People at work, I was like, this week, I said, you got to come and like say hello or whatever, and I said because we got from the biggest convention in the world, we got the boss on the show. I was like, you got to come.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, but look, I really want to kind of get into your history with Lego. That might connect. Obviously, your story connects with BrickWorld in lots of different ways, but
yeah.
I feel like just from the way you've described it and the fact that you were working, like you said, in Legoland. And so tell us about your history with Lego. I mean, it sounds like you probably didn't have a dark age since you were involved with Lego,
I did.
For quite a long time.
I did. It was called, college. So I think I got my first Lego set probably, I don't know, 1978, 79. It was the Duplo Ducks. And my mom always tells a story about the first, because I've gotten so into Lego. She's like, I remember the first time I saw what Lego was. A friend of hers like took out these Duplo Ducks, and her daughter like immediately like calmed down. And she's like, "What? How did you do that?" And so after that, the started flipping into system pretty early. But Fabuland was out at the same time, and it was only there for. In the States, they only sold it in the States for like a couple of years, like maybe 1980, 1981, maybe 1982. And then they moved it, they just discontinued it here and only sold it in Europe. And then, so we were looking for it on shelves. And so I wrote a letter to the Lego company to say that I missed these sets and were they coming back? I wrote several letters to the Lego company when I was a kid. That's how you did it. Like literally like sent it to Susan Williams, who apparently was not a real person. Because they had like a customer service address in all their catalogs. And so they sent us a mail order catalog that they were selling it in the United States through mail order only. So then you had to wait 6 to 8 weeks for it to ship over from Denmark. A lot of times there was a back order. You had to wait like months for these things to come in. I got into, just building my own city. I had a card table in my room that I had like built a city on. It was half Fabuland, half system scale. And then I had shelves that had like castle and space on them. And it just kind of kept building. And I remember I think when I was 11 or 12, like it was the Christmas where it was going to be the last Christmas where I can get Lego. And I was like, okay, well, I gave this big list of the stuff that I wanted for my last Christmas getting Lego. And they ended up giving me like one set. It was like a light and sound space set. They used to have these like sound bricks and light bricks. And I was upset. And I was just like, I don't want to be ungrateful. But I only got, it was my last Christmas getting Lego, and I only got one Lego set. They're like, "Oh, we didn't know that you wanted any." I'm like, "Who are you raising? Who lives in your house?" Like,
wait, was that? Did that happen to be the Space Police ship?
No, I think I don't even think it was that one. It was like one of the generic sort of. I'll see if I can find it.
Because I remember having the Space Police set, the blue and black one.
Yeah,
where there was a light and a sound brick in that one.
I had that.
I'd never seen that before.
I had that one as well. I guess searching just light and sound doesn't get me anywhere. Let me try light and sound Lego sets. And, so after that, I think it became pretty clear to my parents that I was always still building. There were years where I wasn't allowed to get any. And then I got to the point where during the summer, I would ride my bike to the mall and take whatever money I had to buy the Wolfpack sets had come out. And I was like, I need to get the Wolfpack sets. And sneaking them into the house like I'm some sort of drug dealer. I was a good kid, but I was basically running off. And then once I got my license, I was like, oh, okay, I can drive out. And I had a job. I worked at Little Caesars. I could go buy Lego whenever I wanted. And then eventually my parents were like, okay, you're still into this. And I'm just like, yeah, I always have been. And then I went to college, and I wasn't going to bring my collection with me there because you're going to go move into a dorm room with people you don't know, and you don't want to be the weird guy on the floor, that guy who has the Lego in his room. And so, but when I would go home, I would visit my parents. I would basically they'd go to bed, and I'd go dump the Lego bin out and try to build something real quick. Which, as you may or may not know, building a mock doesn't really happen in one night, so it'd always be really frustrating. And then when I graduated from college and moved into my first apartment, I got all the Lego out of my parents' basement and brought it to my apartments with me. Which is fun because back in the day, I didn't really have money to rent a U-Haul to move all my stuff. So I typically did it in my car, one load at a time. And I was going over a crosswalk once because I couldn't find parking outside my new apartment, and the bottom of a box opened up in the crosswalk, and I had to quick try to get the box back together as much as I could and grab as much Lego out of the crosswalk as I could.
Crosswalk in Chicago?
Yeah. I mean, it was up in Andersonville, so North Side neighborhood, a little bit less, not as crazy as if it was downtown, but not ideal by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just how many rare pieces are getting run over? I remember spilling one down a back staircase of my apartment, which was outdoors. It was the back door to our deck when I was moving out of a place. And just raining down all these staircases. I was on the top floor, and I was just oh my God, I had to dig through the alley for all these pieces. And then so then I lived in a house with my ex, and I had a hernia surgery. And while I was recovering, I got on Eurobricks, and I was still on anesthesia. I was still high. I was on painkillers. And I just started being a jackass. And people found my sense of humor funny. And I don't know, a couple months later, I was on the staff at Eurobricks. And then eventually, so if you guys I know Muttley's from Eurobricks. I recognize him from there. Eventually, I became a root admin on Eurobricks. And that was my introduction to the AFOL community was getting on Eurobricks and being a staff member on the forum. And it was Mike Westedt from Sweden that got me into going to BrickWorld. I'd gone to the first BrickWorld, and I'd been to Comic-Cons before. So I thought it was rather inexpensive for a convention. So I thought I had paid for a full registration, but I thought I'd only paid for a day pass. So I went for one day and just kind of walked around and looked at the mocks. And when I was in there, the only person I really talked to was Kyle from BrickForge, the guy who started BrickForge. And he had he had just made the cows and the sheep and the pigs. So I bought a bunch of those, talked to him. I reviewed his stuff on Eurobricks, and then Mike was the next year, he's like, I'm going to come stay with you, and we're going to go to BrickWorld. And I was just oh yeah, I went. It was pretty cool. And so he sends me all this stuff. I'm I don't know how much the 5-day pass is. It sounds really expensive. We got to get a hotel and blah, blah, blah. And he's just no, it's this much. I'm that's what I paid last year. I figured out I could have gone to the entire thing. I was working as an actor at the time, and I was in a show, so I probably wouldn't have been able to do much of it anyway. But it's learning that I've technically attended every show, but I was kind of just a public day guest. I didn't go during public hours, but I went, during a time where they used to do many presentations. There was a presentation going, or many full presentations, and so like that nobody else was there except a few of the vendors because they were all sitting and listening to this whatever keynote speech or whatever. We only do 1 or 2 of those now, and there used to be one every day. So I went during that time, and then had to get out of there by the time my show started. And then so I went with Mike the following year, and then we brought a bigger display the year after that, which would have been 2009. And that's the year I became mock card coordinator because we hadn't requested our mock cards and we had to print them on site. And I was just like, hey, I realize you're really irritated by this, but I'm like, I can help you out. I know how to do a mail merge, and I'm a proofreader. I worked as a proofreader for several companies after college. And I'm like, I could totally do that for you. It'd be no problem. I'd love to contribute. And then in that same convention, I got recruited by Legoland to come work as a master model builder. So there we are. All caught up.
Jesus, I got a question.
Yeah,
that was so comprehensive. Is there anything you haven't done? Because you've been an actor in that, you're a proofreader. You've pretty much done everything that the rest of the panel's done. Like just dipped it. Yeah.
It's like the only job I haven't had is like air traffic controller. Like I've worn a lot of hats throughout my life.
Your bio hair. Let's get it. Let's make it happen.
Oh dear Lord!
What I will say,
a fellow actor then in this group today.
What's that?
A fellow actor then.
Are you also an actor?
Well, no, but I do. Amateur dramatics. So
cool. Yeah, that's awesome. That's it.
On stage, plays.
Nice.
Pantomimes, yeah, and.
Oh, you do panto?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I don't. Yeah. Yeah, I'm in
Oh,
one.
no, he doesn't.
Okay, I was just like, because that's a rare skill.
No,
people out there that are actually really good at
I'm
it.
in one at the moment. Well, I say I'm in one. We're rehearsing and everything, so it's not till
awesome.
It's not till January, but
are there?
We also do like musicals and cabarets and things like that.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, that's the sort of stuff I used to do. I got my in the States it's called an equity card. And I became eligible for the equity card.
Yeah,
unions in England.
Yeah, no, this is just amateur dramatics. Yeah, it's not. Nothing,
yeah, if it wasn't for that sort of like the equity contracts, I think acting would be a fun side gig. But once you get to a certain point where you've done enough shows in the union, you have to join the union. Otherwise, like I don't know what the penalties are or whatever. But then that next contract you get needs to put you into the union, so they need to get you at the union rate. Nobody wants that. Like a lot of our union houses here in Chicago are like the smallest tier, so they only need 2 contracts per. And so there's plenty of actors here who aren't in the union that they could just hire that way. Anyway, we can go out. We're way off Lego now.
Yeah, but I mean, to be honest, it's something I always wanted to do, but I never got around to it. So
I mean, if I was made out of time, that's what I would do. If I could have any career I wanted and money wasn't an issue, I would act for the rest of my life. It's so much fun.
And back in my day in school, there was no such thing as drama and stuff, which they do at school now. The only drama was like out of school sort of club. So yeah,
that was my first major.
You had to go to a special drama school, which cost loads of money back in my day.
Not here. For high school, for grade and elementary. Or did you mean university? Yeah,
no,
the same.
They do drama now, like when my kids went to school and stuff. But back in the 70s, 80s, there was no drama in class or anything like that. No.
Okay, yeah, they still have those. Like some of the schools in the northern suburbs here have like full drama departments where they put on full shows and have like enormous budgets. What's up, Liam? And like they definitely have those high schools where it's like drama specific.
Yeah,
and like you said, it's boatloads of money.
I
don't know how people can do it.
I grew up watching Fame.
Yeah, of course. That song's gonna be stuck in my head for the rest of the day. Yeah, we watched that too, of course. Yeah, cool.
So I was going to ask, Austiff's not here now, but just nothing to do with Lego. When you get this in my head, the nickname Pookie, where's that come from? And does it come from Garfield?
It's just a name you call someone you love. Yeah.
Because Garfield used to have a little teddy bear called Pookie.
Pookie. Yeah. So I don't know if this I don't know if this is just, it must just be US English where it's like you call someone Pookie, it's kind of like sweetheart or cutie or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
So that's where the pook comes from.
All right, Martin, my Pookie. Yeah, thanks, mate.
Hey.
So look, I've got to say though, I haven't, in comparison to Mark, probably spoken to a very small percentage, but I've, interacted with a lot of people in the community over the years. And again, similar to Mark, I existed for a long time in a Facebook Lego.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Star Wars, specifically Star Wars Lego group, where I was kind of like, got to the point where I was posting regularly, doing, posting my marks and quite, active in there, if you like.
Yeah.
So that was called MatteBlackBricks. And I was obviously,
nice. It's a good name for it.
Well, it used to be called the Lego Star Wars Facebook group or something random like that. But apparently then that was when they started stripping away like brand names from.
Can't say Lego. Yeah.
So it became MatteBlackBricks, and I had the merch and all that kind of stuff, and really got into it. But it was just there was always something missing for me, and that was that I'm more of a kind of face-to-face person, and obviously Facebook, you don't have that. It's just the written word, if you're lucky, or maybe video. But and it's not real time either. And I just I like to connect to people. And it was quite interesting listening to your story, because I think probably mostly because you were a little bit more confident with your Lego collection. But so far, you're definitely the person who not only stayed into Lego the longest in terms of the kind of timeline you said that you kind of stopped, and that was only because of going to college and obviously not wanting to be like
a freak,
ostracized or whatever.
Yeah,
but then
like
starting
logistics
back
issue.
into it when you got but also getting back into it afterwards. So even if you can call that a dark age, you stayed into it quite late. Whereas for me, it was kind of early teenage years, stopped, never got rid of it, threw it about now and then, but it was like there was a long gap there between then and when my daughter was born, when I didn't even look at the stuff. But definitely always had a respect for it. And obviously when I got into that Facebook group, like I said, for me it was like there was always that disconnect between just seeing pictures and just talking about it. I wanted to, and that's how I discovered YouTube, and obviously everything fell from there. And that was long before the COVID and stuff like that. But it was just really interesting to hear your story about how long you'd been into it, up to kind of adult years, if you like. Still going to buy it once you had your driver's license and stuff like that. And I find that really admirable, because a lot of people, there's not a lot of people out there who kind of was still kind of especially of that generation. Different if you were kind of born in the early 2000s, they might have stayed into it because there was a lot more Star Wars content and Lego content or whatever at that point. But no, I just think that's an amazing story.
I remember too, like even when I was in college, like when I had my own apartment, like my last year in college, I worked as a pizza delivery driver, and every Friday night I would take a portion of my tips and buy a specific set, several copies of it, because there were window pieces in it that I wanted to use for a larger mock. And at that point, I didn't know the term mock. I just wanted to use it for my own original creation. And so this is before, like, the internet existed then, but it was expensive. And if you lived in an apartment and you had a social life, you didn't want your phone line tied up by the internet. And then and the easiest way to do it was to go through AOL. I didn't know there was any other way to do it until I started having it in classes. And so before the online community altogether, it was really difficult to make original creations. It certainly was near impossible to connect with other people. And then post just forums and Facebook groups and all that. Like the first time I went to a convention and met people in person, it was flooring, just like how different it is to be able to connect in person, like you say. Even though I only met a couple people that first year I went. And then, of course, the second year was amazing because we stayed at the hotel and we met so many people. We made friends right away. And like I've said this before, going to BrickWorld reminds me of the first time I went on a gay cruise. And you're on the boat, they close the doors, you set sail, and suddenly your life is different because you don't have to come out to anybody. Everybody knows why you're there. It's the same with the Lego convention. You're already cut from the same cloth. You don't have to be like, so I've got this hobby, you might find it weird, or that sort of all the stigma is completely gone. You can completely be yourself in a way that you're not able to in other social situations. And there's there's something totally different about it from being online and being behind a keyboard, not being in real time, like you say. Of that social aspect is really, really important, I think, to the AFOL community. And live streaming, I think, is very close to being able to keep those connections. Hey, what's up, Brick by Brick?
I will say it was really funny. Like my first year going, I had no idea you were the fellow who owned BrickWorld or anything, and you and I were just hanging out by my cooler, just talking about our past or whatever.
Yeah.
And John's like, "Get a load of this guy. He acts like he runs the convention."
Yeah.
And then I'm like, "What? Really?" And you're like, "No, I don't." Or you're like denied it or something. And then Sean's like, "Oh, get a load of this fucker," you know? He does. Or something like that.
Yeah, I think like in that first conversation, I think we like 3 sentences in, we talked about we were already on our life tragedies. Like we just connected right away. Like there's something about you, Austiff. Like you just know how to hit people right in their spot, like immediately.
Well, you touched me right in this, Mark. Yeah.
Yeah, I assume from the loss of your dad, both out losing your dad, I'm guessing. Yeah.
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 Good guess.
It's a very good guess.
Yeah,
Almost.
I have to say,
almost knew it.
this year when I went, and obviously you said about the thing you do on the night. Is it the Dead
Yeah.
Dad Club?
Dead
Well,
Dad's
that's
Club.
not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because unfortunately I lost my dad, but quite a few
Ah,
years ago.
Yeah.
I
Sorry to hear
must
that.
admit, it did touch me, but unfortunately, I bleeding missed it. We ended up going out, didn't we, lad? So yeah. So hopefully I'll be there this year for it.
I still
Yeah.
need my
Well,
brick from the first year.
Well,
Yeah,
this is what
I've got them around here somewhere. I'll make sure you get one.
this is what I wanted to get onto next. Is some of the kind of because look for me, obviously, you describing your kind of it's almost like your destiny to kind of do what you're doing now. But for me, obviously, as a spectator, attendee at the event, for me, as a story that kind of lines up and kind of meets yours at that interjecture, attending BrickWorld was like kind of the pinnacle of my Lego hobby, because although my story is completely different to yours, but for me, it was always about wanting to talk about things that I'm interested in. Like when you're in school, you can go and you can talk about, I've spoken to Martin about this, where there's a TV show called Red Dwarf, and it was just perfect for my age group. So we'd go into school the next day and a group of lads, we'd all talk about the show from the night before. And that was always better for me in some cases than watching the actual show. And then of course, when I was in the Facebook group, it was like, yeah, you can get this connectivity, but it kind of limited. I'm more of a face-to-face person, talking to people, that interaction. There's nothing like it. I found YouTube, but that was, of course, one-sided because you're watching them. You're not getting to interact apart from chat. And then, of course, it grew from there. And then, obviously, we formed, obviously, ACOB kind of took it to another level for me personally, and probably the same for a lot of people, where it did become a little bit more interactive and then give us a chance to kind of put our spin on it. And then, of course, we started the show. And then, of course, for us, meeting each other, the three of us across the top row, first time the three of us were together was at BrickWorld, or for that BrickWorld event at least. Yeah. And then, obviously, meeting these people who might be your heroes, but in the same time, people coming to us and treating us the way we were talking to other people, that was kind of really grounding for us, to people to come and go, oh, I really love the show. And I didn't know who the person was, just only recognized their handle. And it was like, I've been watching the show. And it was just, so it was kind of, I've reached like the kind of the pinnacle, if you like, of this love, this hobby and everything that goes with it, in that I'm now surrounded by these people in real life. We can talk, we can have conversations. We were able to do a live stream from there, which is like a dream come true. For also the fact that there was other people there meeting us and meeting me, and you gave that same feeling to other people as well. So it was kind of, that was just, so to me, it was like, that's it now. It can't get any better than that. All we can do now is kind of trying to either replicate that or get a kind of a smaller version of that. I don't think we're ever going to be able to top that in terms of an experience. Obviously, BrickWorld might get better year by year, but in terms of me getting to the height of this hobby, this community, and where we wanted to get to, then that's it for me. It's like a big tick in the box. And obviously, for me, it's just gratitude, appreciation to you for everything you do and all the rest of it. Because, like I said, I know I speak for the guys along the top row and probably Austiff as well, that it's like, it's created like a home away from home for us. Just, even if it's one, we've attended one year. I know Austiff's now 3 deep, but it's like, it has created that kind of holiday destination. Like there's places I've gone in the world and I've gone, I want to go back there. Holiday destinations, you can expect that from everybody. But for me, it's like, I'll skip a holiday and I'll go to BrickWorld again. Do you know what I mean? And everything that came with it as well. So
BrickWorld is my
so yeah, much appreciation. Hopefully to the people in the chat or watching this back on replay who haven't been, hopefully that describes how I feel about it and gives you guys the influence to save that money and go. But I know it's a big financial commitment from the UK, especially.
Yeah.
I will say the BrickWorld is my home, and where I'm at right now is just a temporary residence till I can check in at the Rennie again.
I was going to say I agree mostly with Martin, but I will just say slightly different is, and I'll take the words from Doreen, that things can only get better. So that's the way I look at that.
I hope
Doreen,
so.
yeah.
No,
absolutely. I know the event will get better just based on what I know from what Mark has said and described. But what I mean is, in terms of me, it's just like with my career. I got to the point where I've achieved everything I wanted to achieve in my career. I've done all the different aspects of what I want to do. And now I'm just kind of slowly kind of coasting towards retirement because I didn't want to do any more than I've done. In fact, I've probably done more than I want to do. And in terms of, this community, Lego and all the rest of it, I was at that event yesterday, that brick event yesterday that we're not going to name in this event, in this show. But I was there and I mentioned,
it's all right.
And it's surprising how many of the other volunteers and Lego fans, but some of the other volunteers were Lego fans, and they were talking about how much they really love Lego. We don't get to talk during the show, but afterwards, when we were kind of tightening up, we were talking. This one girl was like, "Oh yeah," she said, "For me," she said, that the ultimate goal would be to one day get to BrickWorld.
Wow.
And I'm like, "Oh, I went to the most recent one," and she was just like, "It's like saying you've been to the moon." To a Lego fan, especially in the UK.
I said earlier, a few people were asking me about it, and and is it worth going and stuff, and I was like, yeah, of course, yeah,
absolutely. And like I said, that feels like, even to some of the people who the organizers and stuff, when they heard that I'd been to there, they were just like, almost like, "Why are you here?" And I was just like, I'm like, because it's ticking a different box for me. This is about
it's because that's all we got over here. Is a tiny little one.
Well, no, but it's a completely different thing. Because one is I go as a visitor, and when I'm there as a volunteer supporter, I get to work with the kids, run the events, and of course, I've still got a long way to go within that area of where I want to get to, because I got to the point, I've done 6 of these shows now. On the very first one, I was like a deer in headlights. Yesterday's show, it just so happened that they were very understaffed. So rather than have 12 of us, they had 6 of us. Because I was one of the only guys who've done more than like a handful of shows.
Yeah.
They were like, "Can you be in charge of this whole section?" And I'm like, "Okay." I managed to do it, and they were really appreciative. So it was like,
great. You were great. And can I say something though? You are absolutely fantastic with the kids.
Yeah, well, because I work around them all day in work anyway. That's my normal job. But I do get a lot back from working with the kids and seeing their passion for the Lego and running those events for the kids and for the adults.
You were great, mate. You weren't so nice to us adults, but you were great with the kids.
I say careful. Careful. 5 years from now, you might own that company that runs that show.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I got a long way to work my way up through there, but no, just from going to a couple of shows and just obviously because I manage people for a living. When you're in a position like that where you're kind of accidentally thrust into now you're more experienced than the other volunteers and you're kind of telling them what to do, it's like I've inadvertently worked my way into a manager's position in a volunteering job. But no, I'm happy to do that. As it comes. But anyway, but that segues nicely into the next section, which I wanted to talk about, which is like the extra things that you do at these events. And I've got some visual for this, but specifically I think for Slurpy to get his time in the headlight a little bit is the animation
the film festival. Yeah, it's a great thing to hype.
That's been going since day one, since the first year, right?
Maybe. Let me look that up, because I do believe they're a few years behind it, I think, because I think this year was the 14th annual. I
thought the guy said 7, because one guy said that he's been going. Oh, he might have been talking about BrickWorld. One guy said the guy looked about 25, and he said, "I've been coming for the last 17 years," and I was like, "Wait, what?"
This is Tyler, so he's been at every BrickWorld since the age of 6.
We made a joke. God. We didn't know how old he was, and we were like, "Was this kid conceived?"
Because he does look like he's 12. Yes.
Dude, that's a life goal. I never knew. I need to conceive a child at BrickWorld.
Because
a hard pivot right there. Okay.
Well, Slurpy said it.
Yeah. Life goals. Everyone has different ones. Let me see. Where are we at with the film festival?
Now, say for example, theoretically speaking, Mark, if someone had, they conceived a baby at BrickWorld and they named a baby BrickWorld, does that child get free admission to BrickWorld for the rest of their life?
I'm not committing to anything like that.
What the fuck?
Because it's like that KFC commercial, like when they're
That poor kid.
It's like the KFC commercial. It's like if you name your kid Colonel Sanders, your family gets free KFC for life.
I do not want to encourage anybody to name their child BrickWorld.
That's such a...
it's like
Oh
that
my God.
competition they run. It's like that competition they ran when they launched the game Turok for the Super Nintendo, where they said the first person who can send in proof that they've changed their name by default to Turok would win an all-expensive paid trip to New Zealand, where they filmed it. Some of the footage, apparently. I was just like, what the hell? Somebody obviously won that trip.
I was gonna say, Cool Han, when you were talking about meeting people and them being, surprised that you had been to BrickWorld and like just meeting people, from the stream, meeting people in person. It's very weird. Now, when people stop me and want a selfie with me, or when people recognize me from being on live streams that I've never met in person, because I'm very good with names. I'm good at remembering faces and names together. And so when people are like, Mark, and I'm like, I don't have a catalog of this face in my brain at all. It's like just people knowing me outside of in-person meeting is a very strange feeling. And I think like that's kind of what I try to remember as like we're going forward to make it the best show I can, is to not try to improve. Well, to try to improve, yes, but not try to like make it shinier and better in the way in any way that isn't genuine. Like just sticking to a genuine show. I genuinely believe this is a good thing to do for the community, a good thing for the show, without going like we got lots of people with ideas out there. People love bringing me ideas, and sometimes they're just so far left field. I'm like, I appreciate the passion very much, but it doesn't feel like a genuine connection to the community. Mostly, I mean, I don't even want to insert the brand in there. Like it's all about like our tagline is building community, and it's a very simple mantra to stick to. But my point is, it is very strange to have this like, Z-list celebrity status that like people want me to sign stuff.
That's pretty cool though.
You're signing stuff now?
I was a hidden figure in the ACOB set.
Yeah.
And so people wanted me to sign their sets. People asked me to sign their shirts. They asked me to sign their which I'm more than happy to do. It's just so weird because like I really try not to make myself the focus of BrickWorld. I want it to be all about everybody coming together and being about the community. So until this year's keynote speech, which I wanted to talk about mental health in the community, so I told my story. I usually only talk about myself on these live streams when people directly ask these questions. I don't really want to go do a presentation like, do you want to get to know Mark? Like, well, at Nirvana C at 10 a.m. on, Friday morning. Yeah, I did see.
That's pretty cool.
I know you have your signature on my Scooby-Doo cooler.
I took
People
the
want
other
me to sign their
BrickWorld.
stuff.
I took the other BrickWorld.
Hell yeah, Liam got you.
Put it on this one. Yeah.
I have the Mark figure mint and sealed box here somewhere. I'll open it one of these days. Oh my god.
Obviously, I got that this year as well. For
new attendee. Yeah.
I have 3 Marks.
Can I have one next to your second attendee, please?
That's a lot for us to record and remember.
In that case, I want a 3rd-year attendee brick.
Right? I mean, if the people were actually into that, I'd probably find a way to make it happen. However, the pain in the butt about that is people would be. I know, but I have to think of it as just like, well, could we do that? Like that's kind of where my brain always goes. All right, I cannot find this for my life. I know they send me a PDF every year with the information we're supposed to update the website with, and I believe we've taken it down already for next year's. Found it. Okay. Humdidum. This year's was the 12th annual BrickWorld. So 2025 was the 12th annual. And so that must mean we don't count the 2 years that we were off. So what's that? 12, 13. It was starting 13. would have started in 2011. Would have been the first film festival. And that would have been David Pagano.
Yeah.
And David Pickett.
He's a big guy in the community. Yeah. Massive guy.
Mark,
Yeah. He did Brick 101 for a long time.
Mhm.
Or unless you were talking about David Pagano, who did not do Brick
they both
101.
were.
They both, yeah.
His stop motion thing from back in the day, the figures, what was it? The talkie guys. It was he used brick built like
The
fucking mocks. They were so cool. As a
yeah,
kid.
it was a whole story, and it was the call letters of the station that they were reporters for. I can't remember what it was called, but in case anyone wants to know what we're talking about Brick 101 on YouTube. I'm pretty sure all the stuff is still there. Nightly News at 9. There we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was so that takes me back. Hey, that's a long time ago now.
Yeah, I worked for him for a while too. He was very fun to work for because he just needed extra stuff built for tutorials. I did he and I designed the Godzilla together that we put on ideas, and didn't it even with what does he have? He has 1.01 million subscribers.
I know that's
Jeebus. No wonder Adpocalypse sent him back into the workforce. Like he had to have been making mint on that before they switched the way they do ads for YouTube. My God.
Because he did for a long time, like not exclusively stop motions, and then he went to do the tutorials, which was really
Brick
cool.
built characters.
My brother wasn't like they're supportive of the stop motion all, but they're like, don't really care. But I caught him watching his videos one day. That's pretty cool.
Last year at Indianapolis, I was telling someone who had a Minecraft display that I built a Witherstorm for Brick 101, and this kid like overheard me and was like, "I watched Brick 101." I'm like, it's just like years after he stopped doing this. Actually, when was his last video? Looks like he did Mario Maker a year ago, but let's see, what's his latest one? Oh, 3 months ago. He's doing a He's doing Nintendo stuff now. So he ended up going back to the business and got a job, his dream job as a game designer.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So let's see. Last time he did a Lego video would have been a year ago. Yeah. Yeah, he was prolific. Like for a while, he had his own office. He had his own space in the city. Like I'm like, you can afford to rent an office? I would love to get all this out of the house and rent an office somewhere. We're getting close to that, but that's definitely on the list for things I got to do. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to run and take a bathroom break. If you watch my stream, I take frequent bathroom breaks.
That's no worries.
Awesome. All right, see you in a minute.
The best.
So I was frantically looking for my signed BrickWorld brick from Mark, and I don't know where the hell I put it. Do you know honestly, still haven't finished unpacking all my BrickWorlds. Oh, did he show his?
No, he took yours. He said it.
Oh, did he?
He said he snatched yours in the room.
That sounds all right. Bastard. But yeah, recognized. I don't even remember some of these things. I don't remember. It was the whole thing feels like such a blur that I was just trying to remember, like. So basically, my suitcase is still packed with everything from BrickWorld because I wanted to keep everything together until I got somewhere to put it, and I wanted to do some like vlog or content to cover it. So I thought, right, if I keep it together, I'm not going to lose it. But somewhere along the line, there must be at least a box of stuff missing because there's a few little bits and pieces that I know I had and I can't find anymore. So I'll have to. Oh wait a sec, here it is.
What is it? Dun, 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 dun. No, I think as soon as I got back, I just made sure everything from BrickWorld was like, put away. I've done that before where I've kept stuff in the suitcase and then it's like, you don't touch it for ages. And you're like, oh, I forgot I had this sock. Whatever.
The sock.
Yeah.
No, so I've got a box of all my bits and pieces. And then I've got like all my sig figs that I picked up off people in another box, and then like all the sets that I bought in another box. It's all over the place. Honestly, it's a mess, but it's all together in one place so that when I come to do some kind of content or coverage on it, it is all together at least. So, but yeah, so
Hell yeah. I never got.
Whittakee, Cool Han took yours.
Just shown that, eh?
Took
He
your
took
brick.
your brick.
No,
Oh, I
still
got it. It's right here.
No, you guys just swapped. So here's what happened. In the middle of the
Here
night
he
one
goes.
night, Slurpy came in a little bit later, and you guys were asleep, yeah? And so Slurpy decided to play a little game on you guys and swapped you guys' bricks. So really, Whittakee has Martin's brick, and then Cool Han actually has Whittakee's brick.
Oh, but both says Mark Larson on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
right.
convoluted.
And I've also got Slurpees.
No.
You bastard.
Yeah, you'd already left. You'd already left, mate, when I bought them. So we kept a few. It was going to be a surprise, but since we're talking about it, so
Thank you.
After 2023, I actually had to buy brick signing Sharpies
Heck
with the
yeah.
fine point.
it was in a box with this, which I got off
that's cute.
Manny. Manny from Lego Masters gave me this, and like Mark was mentioning earlier, and I wanted to kind of chime in, but he was flowing very well, so I thought, right. So talking about Lego Masters, guys, this guy Manny, if you've ever seen him, he's like, I'd never even watched Lego Masters. I didn't really know who he was, but this guy, these are the things they give out to other people's mocks. But he wanted to give me one because he just liked my style, apparently. So he called me across. He shouted my name. Well, he didn't shout my name because he didn't know who I was, but he shouted it for me across the convention. And bearing in mind, it's the middle of the day, so there's people everywhere. He's like, "Oh, hi, come over here." I was like, "Me?" He's like, "Yeah, come over here." And then we were chatting, and he said, "I want to give you one of these because I love your style and all the rest." And I was just like, amazing. And then afterwards, realized who he was, and turns out he was also the guy who was apparently going to shave my beard that we talked about for Austiff stream. So that was the guy you were talking about.
Oh,
Manny can shave your beard at BrickWorld, and I was like, who?
I love Manny. He's on the coordinator team now. He's our hype coordinator. He goes around to make sure everybody's having a good time. It's a good role for him.
We got to get him on the show, I think.
He and my mom are both. Yeah, he's been wanting to get more involved in like the community live stream. So yeah, if you reach out to him, I'm sure he'll do your show. And I can't speak for him for sure, but I'm pretty sure he'd love to, from what I know.
But no, going back to I mean, that's just a small example. I could go all day, but like I said, that's like almost another stream in itself. But I just really want to kind of focus on your connection with BrickWorld, but also talk about some of the things that, like, so we talked about the movie festival, which is obviously a fantastic event for Slurpy because he won that accolade, and of course, now he's got a huge kind of fandom of his own just from that. But it elevates the show. So I just want to know, is there anything you've kind of changed in terms of like the awards and all that kind of stuff since you've come on board?
I've made some decisions that I'm kind of always still making sure that they're the right thing to do. I've got a small committee of staff and other people I trust to ask these, the previous owners for sure. I ask like, hey, I'm going to do this. What do you think? The awards changed because they had to, at least the way that they're done. And, there's no matter what happens, there's going to be complaints about the awards. Like we've added categories, we've shifted categories as we've seen like the need for them. Like best Star Wars as an example, because there's so many Star Wars creations, like, honoring that part of the community with an award seemed appropriate. But also there used to be one awards coordinator. And so there was one person in charge of like getting all the judges together. And like typically what that person would do is like give them a sheet of all the categories and say, find 5 nominees for each category. So these judges that were volunteering for this one coordinator were spending almost the entire day Friday. That's one of the reasons, like, it's a lot of work, even though we have it set up now. It's like, we want you to have your creation set up by noon on Friday, because those guys talk about nominations after they get their judges to go out from noon until like 2 a.m. on Saturday. From noon on Friday to like 2 or in the morning. It's gone later. They watched the sunrise. The first year we did it this way, they watched the sunrise every day at BrickWorld, which I know a lot of people choose to do. They didn't necessarily want to do that themselves. So we have several awards coordinators, and they're all in charge of specific categories. I think there's 6 of them now. I think we're going to add one. I need to get on that. And then each one of them is responsible for, I think 5 categories is the most that any single one of them has. And then they get the judges for those 5 categories. So when the judges go out, they only have 5 categories to look at, but they need to find 25 creations out of all of the creations that are there to put in these categories. And so we try to diversify the backgrounds of these people, like what parts of the country they're from, what parts of the world they're from. Marcus Robuler, who designs for Lego, is one of our awards coordinators. And then make sure that they're doing their best to have fair conversations when they can't make a decision, or when all sorts, like, it's just madness from there. But I mean, this is probably the area where we get the most complaints, because people are very passionate about their hobby, and they're very passionate about their work. So it does not surprise me at all that people's feelings would be hurt by not getting nominated. There's years that I've gone that I wasn't nominated, and that did hurt my feelings, but I had to then check my own ego and say, like, yes, but I've been nominated every other year I've been here, and it's okay to go and not get a nomination or an award. And it's like, it's a very, like, and I had to convince my ego of this very early on, because I'm like, if I'm going for this, I'm going to spoil my fun every time. If I'm upset that I don't get nominated, if I'm upset that I don't win an award because it's such a small part of the weekend, being out there and talking to people and getting the tokens that you were pointing out that Manny gave you on your creations, I hope people can focus mostly on that. But it seems like people will always look for something that's wrong with it when they're upset by it. So we get a lot of accusations of, like, they always go to the same people, or like, these are just their friends. Like, these are the people who've come to BrickWorld for a long time. And it may appear that way sometimes. But I know these people, and there's a reason I have them in this group. And if I feel like they're not, if they don't have that at heart, I will not ask them to return the following year. The major thing that I will say is, I know these people go out and they are looking at the creations. They don't know whose creations they are until they look at the mock card. And so they're not just going and looking for their friend's stuff. And there's too many friends for them to know exactly where everyone's stuff is. And so when they're out there, they are genuinely looking for what, in their opinion, because this is subjective, and that's another reason we wanted to, like, diversify the group, to make sure that the subjectivity we have a big enough pool that subjectivity is definitely, we can say that about it, and I believe we do, but we're always looking at it because we want to be fair, and we listen to everyone's feedback, even when someone says, like, just like that person is just doing this for their friends. I'm like, well, let me look at who's on that team and who got nominated, because, like, and it takes a lot of time, but it's worth it, because we want to be able to stand up on this. And here's what we're doing this year. This is going to be very different for, like, any coordinator role that we have in the company. We're going to post it on the website. So if you're ever wondering, like, what are and this will probably mostly happen for the awards coordinators, like, what do they agree to? What is the contract for being an awards coordinator? We're going to post that on the website so everybody can see all the roles and what we expect of these people. We try to be as transparent as possible with that. So that's awards. One thing I've done with the expos, and now that we have more space at Chicago, we're able to bring it there, is, like, interactive displays. Like, it was something that I learned in marketing. And when I first worked with a PR firm, which I will never do again, one of the first things they asked about our press release, they're like, yeah, but what can people do there? I'm like, you have to go and see, like, it's about seeing these creations. They're like, yeah, but what can people do? And I'm just like, it's about the creations. And I'm like, you just have to go and experience it and see. They're like, well, if it's about Lego, like, you're going to get more people in the door if there's interactive stuff to do. And I'm like, we don't have the room for it. That was basically my attitude towards it. Is just like, there's really not a lot of space available, especially at Chicago. But the more we did interactive displays, and more interactive games and activities, like Josh and Lindsay Superhawk, they have this entire thing where they built basketballs out of Lego leaves, and we have the Duplo penguin toss, which is like cornhole, but instead of beanbags, you have Duplo penguins. One of the funniest things in the world. We have Brick Derby now. We have an interactive city where kids build the city, and it's part of the display in the show, and they display all day that they're there. So that thing that's it right there. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Is that Sigsby in the back?
Yeah.
It is.
So he's just peeping over.
Yeah, this is the first year we had that at Chicago.
That is so cute.
And they built little stories inside, and, like,
is that what you helped with, Martin?
And the reason I got this lined up is because this was what my volunteering looked like.
Nice.
So I'm just gonna, segue there while you're on the subject of that. So shout out to Sigsby, and Yeah, so this was me, and this is probably the closest to what I'd been used to doing in terms of interacting with the kids and kind of.
Yeah.
Again, it's not just there telling the kids what to do. I think I saw at this event, if I'm honest, in terms of people who perhaps hadn't done it before. There was another young lad who was working with us who kind of great that he wanted to volunteer and all the rest of it, but I think for him it was very much like he just felt like he was doing a job. For me, it was an opportunity to give back, just like what I do when I do the volunteering in the UK. But also it was about encouraging the next generation, because I see, education and things like Lego, we've got to future-proof it. And the only way we can future-proof it and keep it around for us is if kids continue to love it. Because if all of a sudden every kid on Earth stopped buying Lego, Lego will disappear off the planet, because it's just not enough adults into it to keep it, maintained, as far as I'm concerned. But also, we need that. We need the AFOLs of the future and all the rest of it. So for me, this is about future-proofing my hobby, my love, my passion, because these kids, and I remember speaking to some of them, and they specifically said, next year, I want to do the job you're doing. Next year, I said, look, you've got to be a little bit older, but one day, if you can be here and all the rest of it, keep coming back, you'll already be way above what I've done, because this is my first time here. And they're like, how do we get to do it? And then there was other adults asking, how do we get to do it? And all I was doing, they had a quick crash course on what to do. I was helping the kids, and then, for example, they should get to choose a minifigure to put inside this little room. So it's like I can't remember the size of the plate.
8x16.
Like 8x16, right? So 8x16 plate, and we just encourage them to build mostly 3 sides, but there's some specific guidelines without going into too much detail. And then they get to pick a figure. So a lot of them are just kind of boxing the whole thing in, and I'm like, this is going to become part of a city. You've got to look at it from the outside. You're going to be able to. And then they're putting their little figure, say, I don't know, they've made a little bathtub for him to sit in. And I said, right, why don't you put him near the window so he can be waving, and make the window a little bit lower so he can see. So then, of course, I put the little minifigure there, and I said, right, why don't you put it here? And then when they finish and I put it on the display, look, and they could take in a picture of they can see the little minifigure popping out the window and stuff like that. So you're just trying to encourage them to, to play and have fun. But also it's about them working together. So you had a couple of little kids where I said, look, that one you're doing, if you do, and there was a complete stranger kid, like, so the 2 kids didn't know each other, but they decided to do one together where they were kind of upstairs, downstairs. So I said, right, when you put it on, can you put him downstairs and put him upstairs? And like the one guy apparently was supposed to be angry with the guy upstairs, and the guy upstairs was kind of. And obviously, you don't see that in the minifig at all. There's just 2 minifigs stood by a window, but that's their imagination has been born from the idea that I gave them that they could work together. And then, of course, I got to put it on the tower together. The 2 kids are there with their families, and the families are speaking to each other, and then they're taking a picture, and they got 2 boys are together with each other having a picture with it in the background. And I was like, "This is amazing! This is it! Like, this is." And I just felt that for me, that was just like again, massive tick in the box. I felt great doing that. But of course, and if you're not that way inclined, still, it's a great experience just to feel as if you're helping, supporting other people. Don't get me wrong, it was nice to have a brick that said volunteer on it. And
that's why he did it.
I just got Harry Enfield in my head now. It's like the bloke goes, Martin's like, don't do it like this, do it like that.
So
Cool Han was I want to make my brick general badge as big as possible, But
no, it was because as soon as I saw there was volunteering opportunities, I'd misunderstood. I thought it was volunteering to kind of help with coordination and all the rest of it. Didn't realize it was like, doing this, which is exactly what I'd been doing in the UK already. So it was like, right, apart from obviously, I don't know the remit. Apart from that, everything else is fine. Interacting with the kids. But some people would find that the more complicated bit. And I could see that around the room with other people were just kind of like, you've got to do this. Now you have to do this. Right, now give it to me and pop it on. And okay, I'm not taking anything from those guys because, for me, it's an everyday thing. So, but it was just such a rewarding exercise,
That's awesome.
And I thought just getting to BrickWorld and interacting with people and meeting these guys and meeting some of my heroes was enough. But this was just kind of like the icing on the cake for me. And anybody who goes to BrickWorld for now and forevermore, please, 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 I encourage you to even if you just do one of these events. I think I was there for like an hour, maybe 2 hours. I can't remember how long the segment was.
I think they're 2-hour shifts. Yeah.
2-hour shift, and it felt like 15 minutes to the point where I was like, if I didn't have a million other things that I wanted to do, I could have stayed there all day. Not a problem. And the only disappointing part for me on this was having to take them off and start. I was like, right, make sure that kid is left, because you get so
That's
high.
the hardest part.
But you've got to manage it, so you don't just take them off the top. You have to kind of pull off and pull from the bottom and move them down. So it's really, and of course, you've got all these kids watching you and their creations, and you're like trying to take them off these three-sided structures. But yeah,
nothing's worse than like
get on that kid's hit list.
Choosing to take one of those down, and then the kid runs up dragging his mom like, can you take a picture? And it's like, it's in your hand and you're like breaking it apart. You're like, he did it.
It's not what it looks like.
But I'm so
guy.
So Martin, did all the kids understand you though, or did they just nod sometimes?
You could see their faces when they heard my
Kids,
accent,
they-
and they
they
were
were
just like,
actually-
what is this subterranean burr that we're hearing? But
well, I'm glad that was your experience. I'm glad that's the one you did, especially with your experience in it, because that's one of my brainchilds. I come up with a lot of new interactive stuff to do. So have Josh and Lindsay. But I was really excited about this. And like the first time we did it, I just threw it to the Lego Masters and gave them a bunch of mixed brick. And that's why we have the specific brick now, because it took forever to take them apart if we gave them whatever they wanted to build with. And then one of the specific things I gave them when we broke it down to like different brick types was snap brick with tiles, so they can make different brick patterns. So we were trying to show them techniques of different ways that you can make your own building, and every single one of them tiled the floor of their module. And so we had to sit there all night, like taking tiles out with the brick separator. We're cutting the tiles from this, no more tiles. No. And it's sad because like the kids who know what they're doing, like really want more pieces and really want to be able to make a better design. But that was kind of like, it started from like a marketing standpoint. And I will say it's still a good marketing standpoint because, as you mentioned, each family is going to take at least 2 pictures. They're going to take a picture of the kid with the module, then they're going to take a picture of the city with that module in it, and then probably one with them standing next to the city with the module in it. So we're getting 3 pictures on socials for every kid that comes by there. That's great for marketing. And my mind has to work that way sometimes. That's what I realized. So I did this once we decided like, I'm going to change this. I want it to go this way. I'm like, when I add a new interactive, I've got to go do it myself. I got to play the Duplo Penguins. I've got to go work this city to see how it is for the people working it and see how the interaction works with the kids, what works, what doesn't. So I did this when we finally, in the iteration that you have right there, we came up with at BrickWorld Fort Wayne in 2022. And I worked it with with 3 other staff members because we had 2 cities. One was sci-fi, one was regular city. We've cut the sci-fi city since then because it was a lot of work. And I still have it, and I'm trying to refurbish it. We might switch it out. My point is, what's nice is like that's the connection. That is how you said you're future-proofing it. And that's what we're trying to do. My favorite question to ask at opening ceremonies is like, stand up if you started as a public day attendee and now you're a fully registered, full-fledged AFOL. Like you're in the community, you came here, you didn't learn about the AFOL community until you went to BrickWorld as a public day attendee. And I love seeing how many people stand up. And that's the way to connect and get those AFOLs of the future is letting them not only see it, but get their hands on it. It's tactile. It's like getting your phone, like getting your eyes off screens only works if you're not going around taking pictures of every amazing thing that you see. If you're actually sitting there with these activities, even if it's just the play brick tables, the graffiti wall, like learning a different way to use Lego, because there's not a ton of that out there, especially not enough from the Lego company, in my opinion, about you could build other things out of this. They have the 3-in-1s, yes. But like if someone's just a Star Wars fan, like my nephew was this way, like he only wanted the ships built. He only wanted the Star Wars ships built, and if it broke, he wanted somebody to build it back for him. And that's kind of unfair to my nephew. So Jake, if you're watching, just trust me. I'm just using you as a generic example.
Shout out, Jake,
giving them enough like opportunities to see what else is possible, and most importantly, that they can do it. Because most people go through there and they're like, I could never do this. I'm like, yes, you can. You can. Yeah. You can't start here. If you see something amazing, you might not be able to go home and build that in a couple hours. But if you start somewhere and have the desire to do it, you will increase your skill. And so, like, I like that bridge.
I think for me as well, what was, and this is the only one event I worked at. So of course I had the kind of full 360 perspective of it. But for me, it was the kind of indirect teamwork as well that was part of it. So the kids could understand from seeing what was already there before they started their build, and again afterwards, that each of their modules individually were like pieces of art or pieces of creation. But also it created a
collaboration.
But like you look at that and that looks fantastic. each of those individually is a great piece of work, but then they come together and they make something bigger. And the child hasn't got any control of that, where they're going to be, all the rest of it. But they see that their work is part of a bigger picture. And then, of course, that's how they're represented in Lego community in general anyway. So I was at the point where when they were finishing, I was coming around the other side of the table and being like, wow, that looks amazing, and doing that kind of stuff with them. I'm probably taking it maybe a few steps more than I needed to, but I was really kind of getting into it to the point where people were like, right, it's time for you to finish now. I need to go. Right,
I love it. And you got yourself in a position now where if like we need people for it, I'm going to run out to the floor to find you. I'm like, where's Martin?
No, absolutely. Look, and the other thing I'll say is that
I love it.
Some people don't realize the logistics that go into something like this as well, because this is something I learned, even though I've, obviously managed people and events and stuff like this for most of my career, but what goes into it, and I learned it from the other event that I work, where they make these events, these specific events, and I don't know whether this is by accident, but based on Mark's experience, probably not, but they make these events as insulated within the building as possible. And what I mean by that is they're usually the furthest away from like exits and stuff. So this room was kind of in the heart of all the other areas. Yeah. And the reason for that is because this is the perfect opportunity for parents to have a breather. Okay, they're not walking away and going to get a cup of coffee. They're not suggesting that. But the kids are so engaged in what it is they're doing that the parents can kind of have a 5 minute, a 10 minute to themselves. And depending on 100%. How long the kid takes, they get to sort of have that time to de-stress a little bit if that's the case, but interact with each other as well. And then they know that the child is somewhat protected, because not only are they not going to wander away, because our job then is to keep these kids engaged, although we're not responsible for them, we're going to keep those kids engaged as long as they're at the table. But also if they do, for whatever reason, for heaven forbid, they start kind of wandering off, they're not close to a doorway, an exit, or they're kind of, like I said, it's a room within a, that's what I found about all these kids activities were kind of in the kind of central part where, and I thought that was great. And again, other people might not have picked up on that, but I picked up on the fact that it's like, right, if your kid wanders away from this room, you've still got a long time before they're going to get outside of the building, and like I said, it's kind of the inner part of the building. So there's a
specific entrance and a specific exit, and there's less activity in that room because it's not the main room with all the displays. And so if a kid toddles out of the exit, our staff is going to be like, hi, where are your parents? So
right, okay, yes. So there you go. So I didn't even actually know that. I was just thinking in terms of the way, logistically it was placed and where that room was. But of course, I was just kind of seeing the parents interacting with each other and thinking, yeah, okay, like I'm responsible for these kids to some degree. But
the other great,
there is a lot that goes into it. And in the events that I work in, they're always the furthest away from the entrance or exit.
And we do try to. Reason. And we try to keep them. We try to keep them near the entrance in our shows, just so that people have something to do right when they get there, because we don't open the entire hall first. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking the expos now. This will never happen in Chicago. And then we also try to keep them towards the concessions, because, like you said, it gives the parents an opportunity to take a break. And like you said, you're not encouraging them to literally wander off and go grab a beer at concessions, but they do. So we try to put the activities near the concessions, because we know some of these jackasses are going to be like, oh, these volunteers will babysit my kid too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, that's good. But like I said, I just completely in awe. And again, as working from both sides of it to some degree, obviously not to the degree Mark does, but working a little bit on both sides of the fence, it was great to see what goes into it. I think the only thing for me, and I did give this as some feedback afterwards, is that I really struggled to find the place that I was supposed to be working. I could not find it for the life of me. And in the end, PNG had to come and literally pick me up by the scruff of my neck and say, you're in the wrong place. You need to be here. And
gotcha.
Your shift is starting. Where are you? And I was like,
that's a good point.
So that was the only thing I really, and I think we all said that to some degree, where we really struggled with, apart from like the main areas where we'd been up until that point, we really struggled to kind of find things. And I think for me, the reason is because I went through this room assuming it was going to be there, asked several members of what I thought was staff, but turns out probably were volunteers, is this event here? And they were like, no, I don't think so. So I kind of wandered off to the next room and the next room. So
and the map just gets bigger and bigger. And so like our assumption going in is always like, well, people will find the spot that they volunteered for because it's on the map. And it's like that map is like, if you're pulling up the PDF on your phone, Like you have to like zoom in 5 times to be able to like read everything. Then you got to like move things around. We're like, well, we'll get the app, and you could just tap on PlayBrick and it'll take you there. Not everybody has access to the app because for some reason, we have terrible cell service there. We have the Wi-Fi for international, but the concrete masonry unit that forms the event hall is famously hard for that wireless signal to get through to the ballroom where your job was. So it's kind of like people ask me said this year to me a lot. They're like, we need more signage. I'm like, there is signage everywhere that people are blatantly ignoring. I'm like, giving them more words to read is not the solution here. It's just like giving them a place where they can find the answers when they look for the answer.
I kept looking for a map that said "You are here,"
right?
So I could kind of get my bearings. Because I'm terrible with stuff like that. So
yeah, well,
yeah,
that's the thing is like we have our registration desk and our box office during public hours when a lot of these volunteer slots are happening. Yikes! There's so many moving parts and so many people, and so we had, for example, we had traffic coordinators this year, and my husband manages the traffic coordinators. And dear Lord, he's like, get these people out of here. No offense to anybody he's just like, I need people who are assertive, who are loud, and who know what's going on. And I was like, shh. Like, there's just all sorts of things that like need to kind of, so like we're gonna shift that to like make sure that we know who's volunteering, and that we've got people who can, if we're unsure, we can at least ask them like, do you have these qualities? Because you really need to be able to like get a group of people to follow you to a different door if everything's kind of like clogged up. And so what we also need is an full information desk because we can say till we're blue in the face, like find the people with the white lanyards, but where are they? There's 13,000 people. Well, not all at once, but like 13,000 people come through on between Saturday and Sunday. And that's not including the 2,000 attendees, staff, and vendors. So it is really hard, and like that's another one of those things. Like we're working on being able to get that. Like I really thought that app was going to be just the perfect place for it, but unfortunately, not everybody can access it, and at least not quickly. And especially when the public are in there, when there's thousands of people in the room at the same time, everybody's taking pictures on their phone and sending them to their socials, which is great. But like that signal gets so clogged. We have a network of Verizon business hotspots that we try to run together to run our box office, to run the scanners, to run our back end office, and then merchandise and international. And they clog up because everybody in the northern suburbs has Verizon, and for some reason Verizon gets a weak signal there on top of it. So there's all sorts of things that kind of go into making this run smoothly. And so this is one of the things we have to solve is like, well, we don't have any volunteers here. Where are they? They're wandering around trying to figure out where they're supposed to go. Yeah. And it's not like we don't try. Yeah. Well, it makes perfect sense. And like, I think one of the things that we have to do is take each role and like send you a message either through the app or through your email that says you volunteered. Thank you. This is exactly what time you need to be and exactly where you need to be. And this is kind of like, these are the duties for this. We have that through the website we use, the outside website that we use for volunteer slots. But we switched that this year to our back end. And so now we'll just have to make sure that, and we can script it. Like I've got a genius IT guy who like once we bring up this idea, but is that going to be enough? Because again, you can put 1,000 signs out. It doesn't mean people are going to read it. You could send people 1,000 emails. It doesn't mean they're going to read every word of it, and they still look for the answers.
I'm more of a kind of, we went to New York City, right? And if it wasn't for Kirsty, I'd probably still be wandering around now because I just could not get my bearings. Whereas somehow Kirsty, after a couple of days, and it helped that she was constantly looking at the maps. But once she's done that a couple of times, she got a kind of head on where she was going. And then that's it. Then she knows, right, if we got to go down here and we got to go up here and we got to go to so-and-so station. And I was just like, every street looked the same. So I've always struggled with that kind of thing. But what I will say to anybody coming from the UK, and I recommended, probably too late to recommend this to Whittakee and Slurpy, but what I actually did is I paid 25 quid flat rate on top of my bill. And what that did is that gave me full use of all of my UK services in the USA for that set amount of time, which is something I'd stumbled upon. I was actually in the EE store, which is a network provider in the UK, and I just said, look, I'm going to the US. How do we do it? Well, how does the roaming work? And she went, the best thing to do is get the bolt-on. I'm like, what's that? 25 quid. They add it to your next bill, and you can use everything, all your messages, all your service, everything over there, the same as you would in the UK. And I was like, that seems too good to be true. So, of course, I did that, and I was able to use my phone out there And even Kirsty was surprised.
That
Like
would have been
you're able to
handy.
just
For
do
me, it was $7.99.
you're able
a
to
day.
do. I was able to do a live stream walking around the hall. I was able to message with Kirsty, send videos, messages, just like I would anywhere else, and it was perfect.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
and if I'd known it was going to work as well as it did, I would have recommended it to more people. But I will say, if you're going from any country, I guess, from outside the US, and you're going, look into that. Go to your local store and do it. It's probably the easiest way, but you can do it through the website as well. And it's just made things so much easier for me because, like I said, I was able to use my phone constantly. And it got annoying, if anything, because every time I was trying to speak to these two guys, I wasn't aware of the fact that they weren't getting that message sometimes till a lot later.
That would have been nice to know, wouldn't it, Slurpy, eh?
I know.
I know there's already a lot of costs. There's already a lot of costs associated with traveling to BrickWorld, let alone the purchases you want to make when you get there. But it sounds like it's worth it if it makes it that much easier. So what I did when I went to Rome, when I went to Italy, is like just immediately before I left, I called Verizon and was like, I'm traveling internationally, and they just like it was just an upgrade for like $20 or something like that. Just like, okay, you got international now. When I went to Malaysia for Legoland, I lived in Malaysia for 4 months, and I had to shut off my cell service because it was 2010. And like, I was like, do you have an international phone I can use? They're like, well, we have and this is Verizon. They're like, we have a brick phone that we give to our international customers, but someone has it right now.
A brick phone.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had to get a burner there and buy minutes. So I just communicate with people who were like that I was working with. And then I didn't have any connection I couldn't use my BlackBerry at the time to connect with the States. I had to make phone calls, which was really expensive, or get on, it wasn't Zoom back then. What would I get on? I can't remember. Whatever video messaging service.
MSN Messenger.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Or Yahoo, one of the two. Or no, Skype.
Skype, right? Yeah.
Skype's still around.
I don't know.
We had problems because
All right, if they're around, no one cares. You know what I mean? Like,
I went to London by myself. I had to go for a training for Legoland again, and I stayed for a couple of days just to check out London. And it's exactly like you said. There's maps all over the place that say you are here, and it's like, and there's a tube, and I'm like, I lived like I didn't have my car very long when I first moved to Chicago, so I took public transportation everywhere. Like, so once I understood the tube system, I was like, it took me like an hour to figure out the city. I'm like, I know where I'm going, I know where my hotel is, and I'm like, I can go explore anywhere I want because those maps are everywhere. And if you couldn't figure something out, you could flag down one of those the motorcycle train, the cab. The taxi driver trainees who've got the map there. Yeah. Like, I don't know. So anybody who's never been to London, their cab drivers know absolutely everywhere just by the street address without a computer. They have to memorize it. They have to learn the entire grid the city's on before they can leave the apprenticeship and be a taxi driver. And they're incredibly knowledgeable. They like pretty much. I was just like, if I had stopped and been like, hey, I'm staying at like a Sofitel. And I think it's vaguely in this area, they'd be like, well, there's 3 right across from each other in this area. You're probably talking about this. And they'd pull out a map. Like that sort of knowledge of what you were looking for, if you can flag one of them down. And they're surprisingly friendly for as sarcastic as everyone is in London. Like, they're surprisingly willing to help.
I live in England. I don't want to go to London, thanks.
I like London. It's pretty nice.
No.
I love
But
London.
I would say, but I would definitely say to to kind of get back to what we were talking about, really, is that I think it is the responsibility of the people there. I probably should have, got to know where I was supposed to be going beforehand rather than leaving until 10 minutes before and thinking I could just rock up. So I would say, again, if you're going to do volunteering, just make sure you know your way around, or just explore 100%. Beforehand. Don't walk around where you're kind of your head in the clouds like I was probably doing, which didn't help. So,
but I do think that we picked up that like we could definitely do a little bit better with or improve, because I do think we have all the information out there in case somebody does have that information that they need to get right away and they don't know exactly, do I go to the app, do I go to my email, do I do what? Like having somebody somewhere that has the answers that's easily accessible, which is not easy to do because most of the people who have all the answers are running around like chickens with their heads cut off. So
yeah. So with Austiff, I'm conscious of the fact we've got Austiff for a very limited amount of time. So I appreciate you joining us, mate. We've not seen you for a while, so we have missed you. But are there any sort of burning questions for Mark or about BrickWorld or even for us before you have to disappear?
I have a question for Marky Mark.
What's up?
So Pookie.
Yeah.
I was wanting to know if next year at BrickWorld, you'd be willing to play a game of beer pong using straight Modelos.
Oh my God.
And if you
beer
want to be that
pong.
teammate,
Yeah, I would. This is something that's going to have to happen at like 1 a.m.
Mhm.
on like Friday. That's usually when my schedule frees up, and it can't go that long because then we do have the public coming in Saturday morning. But yeah, sure, fine, fun. If we could do it, if you can stay till Monday, we could definitely do that Sunday night.
Yeah. So this year I'm definitely staying till Monday,
Moondy, that's a good day.
and then
Yadi Mindy.
my final question. Sorry, you didn't ask for two, but you're getting two.
That's fine. I didn't ask for any, to be fair.
Exactly. I'm just forcing it. But I am asking consent, so this is good. So my final question,
Yeah.
is as soon as I see you at BrickWorld, is it okay if I straight up give you a hug?
Of course.
You even know it's
As long as he doesn't have COVID again, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I got a hug from him anyway because I was actually over it. I just had to wear a mask for those days. I was testing negative. But yeah, 100%. No problem
I
at all.
will just come right behind you and just like bear hug.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely you can.
Just to let you know, Austiff, you got permission from me as well.
Yes. Everyone's getting it.
Yeah. I give for those of you who know, if you're wearing a brick badge, and I will break it when I hug you.
Good.
Yeah. Not afraid of small hugs.
Break my spine
Well,
too.
mate, when most people hug me, they break me, so it's all right.
But
Yeah.
Nice.
it's been a pleasure.
Especially last year because I wasn't very well.
I will also say don't expect like any like form of like scheduled media from me in any time in the future. It's just gonna come up as it comes out. Just how life is at the moment, and I hope that's understandable.
Yeah, it is.
Who's for when it drops, whether it be next week or next year, have you got anybody else lined up for the Brick Connection?
Honestly, I'm doing my best not to schedule anyone, just because of the fact is, I don't want to sign people up and be like, shoot, I'm like swamped with school currently, and then now I'm working full time, and then working a part-time job, and then helping out with a few other things. So it's like I just don't want to put anything in stone and just be like, and then.
Well, I'm still officially waiting by the phone, mate. I'm really close every day. Every day, still that phone.
Just
10 hours.
Little do we know, Cool Han just has an iPhone that just has in white letters the stiff phone on it, and it just rings. And that's the only contact in there.
Well, in fairness, though, I would never would have expected to have been invited on the show in the first place if it wasn't for the fact that Austiff did, I think, a post and on a stream said, this is what we got coming up, guys. Yeah. We're going to have Cool Han on the show. We're going to have so-and-so on the show. And I was like, oh, really? I'd never even been asked. But okay. And then,
exactly.
That was about a year ago.
Entrapment.
Entrapment at
So you used me to clickbait people to your channel, mate. Wow.
Absolutely.
That's got to be at least one sub you got from that.
All right.
More like 6.
I do apologize. I have to run to the bathroom again real quick. And can't hold. Bye.
Love you, Cookie.
And in that, while we're on the subject of subs, guys, if you're here and you don't already, please, I've noticed a few new people popping into the chat, but sometimes, believe it or not, I was watching, I can't remember whose channel, for weeks before I realized I'd never even subbed. So go down, it does happen. Go down, make sure you sub. We're en route, because I found something out the other day, which I didn't know. And the only reason I found it out is thanks to the good gentleman down at the bottom of the chat, Ken, aka Brick Dynasty. What's up, Ken? Yep. Where I noticed that he's now got memberships. So, guys, if you don't subscribe to Brick Dynasty, please go and do that now while we're having a break anyway. Congratulations to Ken, who hit 500 subscribers. What I didn't realize is that if you hit the viewer count, but also hit 500 subscribers, I thought the lowest thing was 1,000. But apparently, if you hit 500
subscribers.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is when you hit 500, you can get memberships. So you can start the memberships, which is one of the 3 ways you could earn from YouTube if that's the kind of thing you're into. But the point is that he's hit that massive number. Great, congratulations! And of course, he's at 600 now, which is even better because it's only like a week ago. It was like he hit 500 or whatever it was, awesome. 2 weeks ago.
Well done, Ken.
So
be
fantastic.
100K
And of
soon.
course, go across and not only do you need to subscribe to that channel, but become a member or consider becoming a member, because obviously that means he can continue to improve his show and his app and everything else, which I assume is where everything goes. So, so shout out to Ken. And I've spoken to Ken as well about doing something in terms of collaboration again very soon. So we'll have to watch this space. But
yeah, talking about new
but no.
people. I may be wrong, but is Austin, is he new? Because we always
Lego
call out
Millennial.
new people. Yeah,
That's a cool
Welcome to
profile
the show.
photo. Please
It is
subscribe.
cool. It is cool. Please, please subscribe. I mean, our next
Austin,
goal
I'm
is
a big fan. Please subscribe.
our next goal. I think is like 300. But of course, we're anything we can take. Thankfully, we haven't at the point yet where anybody's unsubscribed. But those days will probably come. So
Oh, that day
yeah.
hit me. I crossed 300 on a show, and then
I remember watching.
that
I was
same
watching it
show,
actually.
It dropped 12. I don't know what I did, and then
Oh
now
my
I'm
god.
now I'm finally 5 away from 300 again. So hopefully, if I hit 300 again, it
That's
stays
weird. I
for
don't
more
understand that because
It could be.
I
It
was
could be
watching-
like the bots being deleted and all that kind of stuff.
but all
Yeah.
at once,
Well,
man. But
Well, as we're
that's-
talking
that
about
wasn't-
that, I've got some big news as well. I've gone up to 35.
look at you go,
Yes.
best, my favorite number there. But
Nice.
fellas, I gotta get boogieing. And
It's
Oh,
lovely to see you, Austiff.
like
Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, Austiff. And take
Oh.
Love you, Pook.
Love you all.
See you soon.
Sure.
appreciate you, mate. See you again soon.
Take care, mate.
Oh, and here's a guy who we've got lined up very, very soon.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Nappy Buffalo. So, guys, keep a lookout. The next 6-week segment is going to be launching soon. In fact, well, I'll take this opportunity to throw up the current one, which we're 4 episodes into. If I can find the layover. Okay.
Oh, I got to get my thing out.
So, just quickly before we get back into it, we are currently episode 4 of the current 6-week cycle. And in the next 6-week cycle, we've almost filled all the slots, but one of the people in that slot is going to be the guy at the bottom of the chat right now, Nappy Buffalo. So looking forward to seeing and catching up with him very, very soon. But yeah, there's a great little comment here from Ken. I don't really know whether that's true or whether he's just trying to blow smoke up our ass, but he owes a ton to us guys. I'm not really sure what we did, but 48-hour stream. But I mean, he volunteered. Not only did he volunteer to be in that stream, he reached out to me, but he also put up a bunch of prizes for the stream, which nobody else did.
Nice.
So even me, and I was running the stream. So that really, even the thing you're thanking us for, Ken, you did yourself, mate. Honestly. So, but yeah, look, like I said, guys, if you haven't already, go and subscribe to Brick Dynasty and consider becoming a member there. So,
100%.
But yeah, back to it.
I have
Go
a
on.
question for Margaret.
What's up?
This is a very deep question. This is a very thought-provoking question. How do
Okay.
you separate Lego as a job and as a hobby?
Yeah.
Because you're the only person I know where I don't know any influencers or Lego designers or even employees, and I've always wondered I know some of employees oh, it's just a job, but I know it's your passion, and I'm wondering how do you separate it?
That's a great question, and that's one of the reasons I left Legoland, is because I wasn't building on my own anymore. I was building for our collaborative for BrickWorld, and that was about it. I always collaborate with the Eurbricks team. Still, we still have a group that builds together at the shows, although none of us go to the forum anymore. It was something I missed, doing my own creative stuff and building my own things. And one of the reasons I was hesitant to buy BrickWorld, because I'm just going to have another Lego career. And really what got me building again is doing our live stream, doing that with Ben and critiquing each other every week. Because we did it after one of our Eurobricks meetings. We were both building something else. And so we stayed on after the meeting, and we've known each other for so long, and we trust each other that we can tell each other what needs to change. We can give each other constructive criticism in a very smart ass way. And so it was hilarious, the way it was just commenting on some of the arch. He did some brick built arches instead of using the arches that already exist in Lego molds, and it wasn't it wasn't done, And so I sat there. I can't remember exactly what I said it looked like, but I had several like metaphors for what it actually looked like, opposed to what he wanted it to look like. And I'm like, this is what the live stream needs to be, because at that point we were doing what we call planning for BrickWorld, and so we just got on every week and updated people on like what they need to know, like how to register for mock cards, how to register for display space, and like how to do all this other stuff, which we can like encapsulate in smaller videos, because we were going live for an hour to explain one concept of how to register for BrickWorld and come to the show. And I'm like, no one's going to watch this entire hour to get these answers. And it was just more community engaging to talk about mock building. And we also realized that there are no other live streams out there that focus on mock building. I mean, there are, but there aren't a lot. And they're like, most of the live streams I see are what's it called? Are about products that's coming out and trends and other stuff like that. And so that's gotten me building every week now, which is fantastic. Except this week I didn't have any time, so we're going to do the live stream tonight, and I'm not going to have anything new built. But I needed a week off of everything, so I kind of slept all week once the season ended. But that's how I found the separation and getting back into that. It is for the job still, basically, but I'm finally like BrickWorld ended and I started like 5 things. Like we had I'd been very slow towards the end of getting my mock done, because I was, we're so busy putting the show together, that as soon as the show ended and I had like a week, I was like, I got this idea. Not only are we collaborating again for Eurobricks, but we also had I just saw so much inspiration and have so many ideas. I started to tackle them. Unfortunately, I do have to take a break real quick. My husband's getting ready to do some travel, so I'm going to go see what he needs, because he just came down and gave me the high sign. I'll be right back.
Yep.
No problem. See, even on a stream, the guy is like here, there, and everywhere. They're the busiest guy in the Lego space that I know.
See,
I just don't know how he does it. I don't know how he does it. He's got his finger in every pie there is, but it just doesn't stop. I mean, I know. I think I would have been dead or had a heart attack by now if I was doing as much as he was trying to do.
I think he I don't want to have any more jobs in Lego, and then in a year's time, I reluctantly bought Lego. I bought the Danish, the Christensens were going through a tough time again, making all this billions, and I decided I'll take it over.
It's crazy. Like you said, you get to see it from a different side, but I've always been quite conscious. Again, I've been doing it as a volunteer, so there's nothing even remotely close to what the place where Mark is. But you do have that kind of. I do make a conscious effort at the back of my mind to not get too involved in it to the point where you might. The risk is that you fall out of love with it. You see what I mean?
I joke to you. I think where whenever BrickWorld ended, when I got back to the place where I was staying, and I took out the Lego, I was like, I'm fucking sick of seeing bloody head falling through the ceiling for a week with Lego, But not in a way like that. But it's like you just want to I wonder what it's like for him. Oh, there is.
Was that the same time though, Slurpy, that you sent me a message going, I had a brilliant time. I'm going next year. Definitely going next year.
No, but I think it's right. I think it's right. It is worth asking Mark this in some degree. But for me, it's like I want to take my time, because again, what my experience of being on the other side of Lego as a kind of I feel like one of the people organizing an event or involved in the event that way is that you take a gradual, very slow steps, because there's always a risk that you're going to get fed up of it, and you could even have a bad experience that's nothing to do with the Lego or the event, but it's connected to it. Say, for example, I don't know, somebody has said something to you, one of the other members of the other volunteers might have affected something. You haven't been particularly well, whatever it is. But no, jokes aside, anything like that could then not only affect that, but by proxy, then it would affect the whole experience and bring the whole thing down. So I'm always consciously aware of that and just try not to put too much stock in what it is I'm doing here. I'm not changing the world or anything, but I've got to remember that this is my hobby, and I don't want to lose that by basically just surrounding myself with it so much that I get kind of frustrated and sick of it. You know what I mean? So, and I've always kind of spoken to people who do work. And of course, Mark is probably the perfect example, especially specifically for us, where he works so closely and is intertwined within the community of something that is also his passion, So, so it's like, where is the off for you? And where is the kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of as I've gotten very close over the years with other Lego people, and a lot of my real life friends are Lego friends. I definitely have my I definitely have my time with non-Lego people here in the city, and that's probably one of the reasons I'm still happy I live in the city, because it's very easy to connect with people. I got a number of friends through the dog park, and then just like friends from living here my entire life, and a good number of them are still in the city. So I don't have to like go out to the suburbs. A lot of my friends moved to the suburbs when they had kids. So I mean, just connecting from Lego is good. That's why one of the reasons that my husband and I bought this house is so that there would be separation from the living space to the Lego space. When we lived in a condo, and I bought the company and was starting to get like all the stock in and starting to get things ready, like collating the GBC workshop set and the exclusive event set, like all that stuff just went in our house. Like, so we had like all these big K8s from Lego just stacked up in the guest room, in the hallway. Like if we wanted to do laundry, we had to move things down like temporarily into the kitchen so that we could do laundry, and then move all that stuff back. And then I was doing this big sorting project, and things were getting better. But then the purchasing the business kind of blew up everything that I kind of need to hold. And now I have 3 storage units, that kind of helps. And then this area down here that if I need to get away from all of this, I can just walk upstairs. And then, having hobbies like, sports and like everything I do for the dog. Like I take her to the dog park twice a day. Getting myself out and away from it is good, because I live in the business. I do this out of everything I do for BrickWorld is all the offices are basically down here. And then when I have to go do something at the storage unit, then I'm stuck at the storage unit for several hours. And there's some crazy people there, by the way.
No doubt.
But I always tell people also take it slow when they get to a convention and they meet the community, because it can be like drinking from a fire hose, meeting all these people and wanting to do things, especially people who are easily inspired and people who are eternal optimists. Like you'll want to do all these collaborations, you want to build all these things, and then you'll stack up your plate and you'll just keep saying yes to things. It's very important to learn to say no, and kind of like, how are you going to manage your hobby time now that you have this new aspect of it? If it starts feeling like a job, you might start resenting it. You might not want to come. You might resent the people that you're working with, and that you don't get done what you want to get done, and then you feel like you're not having fun anymore. And it's a very fine line, very easy to fall into as well. And like I would say with such a dynamic group of people, such a large community like the AFOL community is, the social skills are on a wide spectrum. And so you might hear things. There are people out there who want to connect, but they might have an odd way of doing so. So oftentimes what I hear when people are having bad experiences with other AFOLs is someone came up to critique their work and it was uninvited. And then it turns out like it just turned into like, it basically seemed like somebody came up and said something shitty to me about my build. And it hurt my feelings. It's like, and that person probably didn't mean to go around insulting somebody else, but sometimes like just going in and giving unsolicited advice isn't the best way to make new friends, but also realize that, again, a wide range of social skills, but also it's like, I think Lego as a hobby attracts quite a few people on the spectrum. And so if you get unsolicited advice, to take it with a grain of salt. And not let it ruin your day. That sort of like looking at the wider community and expecting something from it is always another good way for a downfall to come. If you wanted to uphold some value of your life that isn't necessarily connected to Lego, you might not always find it there. And if you try to force it in the community, it definitely won't stick.
I also think of Lego, like there is like the conventions, there is the stream and all, but it's such like unless like you're building with your friends every day, it's such an isolating hobby.
It can be.
Like you're building by yourself, and it's, again, for a lot of us, it's therapy too. But it's not like, it's not like, going to play sport or something, you're seeing the guys. No. So whenever you do meet, like I have a friend who's like in the Lego, like whenever you talk to him IRL, it's kind of like, oh, I thought I did. I thought I was the only person who touched bricks or whatever. Like I thought I was the only one, like a grown ass adult. And then it's like, I think I've been to like a convention before down in Ireland. That was tiny, so small, but it was my first experience. But I think going to Chicago, it felt overwhelming.
Yeah.
But then it like after a few days, I'm like, that's all right. Like it is what it is, But then it was great. Like,
it was a different kind of overwhelming though, because I mean, I've experienced being overwhelmed, and it doesn't happen to me very often because I'm more in my element when I'm in certain circumstances like that. But again, to a level, if there's too many sort of people that perhaps, if I'm one of those people, if there's a crowd of people who I know, but I get there after everybody else and they're already kind of there and established, I find it really hard to get it to break through that outer ring. That's for me the overwhelming part. If I'm there and lots of people come and lots of people are talking to me, and that's fine, you know, if it builds around me or whatever, or if I can sneak in a couple of people at a time. But when I think for me the most overwhelming I found was when we first arrived and we were about to check in, and we turned around and, like, you know, a large portion, there was probably about 20 of the guys there who knew the community, and they were already there all chatting. They turned around, acknowledged us. I was like, oh, I need to kind of get away from this, because thankfully a couple of them came over to us. But I was like, right, I've got to. You guys can go over if you want, but I need to get up to the room. I need to relax. I need to dump my stuff off, and then I need to slowly kind of mingle in, because none of these people we'd met in person before. And believe it or not, no matter how well you get to know people on a screen, talking to them, getting to know them, you know, as much as you can possibly, when you meet them in person, it's a completely different thing. And obviously, we were in a situation where we'd only just met each other. We were only just comfortable with each other in person, and then all of a sudden, here's another 20 people who we know. And for me, that was overwhelming. But it wasn't overwhelming to the point where I really need to put myself away from it. It was like overwhelming, like more of a challenge. Like, right, this is great. I want to go dive headfirst into this, but I've got to do it at my own pace. But I think what you said is spot on, and it is definitely, certainly for people who've never been before to any convention, that, you know, you've got to kind of. I was quite lucky because I met Greg London Bridge on the plane as we.
Oh, nice! Oh, that's perfect. And, oh my God, that's the way to go. It was just,
yeah, and of course, you know, he kind of broke the ice on that whole thing for me, because he was just like, "Oh, Cool Han," and it's right. Everybody sat down apart from like me and Greg on the, you know, we're last people to get on the plane, and he's like, "Cool Han, oh yeah, the first time I meet you was on the plane," and I was just like, okay, I thought I was quite a loud and outgoing type person, but I still have my limitations. But Greg was just like, "Oh, doesn't care," and all the rest of it, and I was like, okay, so that kind of took the edge off a little bit doing that, you know. So, but it is, you know, I definitely wouldn't say a daunting experience, but it is. Like I said, you've got to take it a little bit of time. But like Slurpy said, it's spot on, because when it comes to Lego, I can drop those bricks or that build or that mock or whatever it is I might be working on and walk away from it. And I'm lucky enough to have it in a separate room, so I can walk away from it, and then I can pick it up as and when I want. I can't do that with my job. Can't do that with the volunteering to some degree. And, you know, again, hats off to Mark, because he's in that, which is his hobby, his lifestyle, and his job all in one. And that must be like a massive thing to take on.
Oh, yeah. When people come to the show, especially for the first time, even not just the first time, and like I am kind of skirting around the part that's about me, I always say, like, drink water, take naps. Like I have this idiosyncrasy that I've developed over the years doing conventions, not even just BrickWorld. But when I'm having a really great time, like when there is a memory was just formed, like this situation right here, right now is awesome. We're having a great time. I'm really clicking with these people around here. I set like a mental timer and I duck out like 30, 40 minutes afterwards to just separate from it in case it doesn't get better, you know?
Right.
But everyone has their own social things, and it's just kind of like taking breaks, I think is something that's universal though. Getting back to your room, to a private space, and just decompressing for a minute. Oh, helps so much.
I had to do that a few times. I would like...
Oh God!
I just pulled like an Irish goodbye, like many times, like every day, just like But I go up, you know, make a cup of tea or whatever, do a few laps in the room, and then just head on out. Again,
the problem I had with that was it was such a long walk to the.
I know.
I just like I had my own office this year because I had to wear the mask, and because we had several people. We had one of our staff members was pregnant. Martha Elzer also had. She wasn't pregnant. She's in her 60s. Her father and her caretaker just both have immune system deteriorated immune system, whatever. They're vulnerable to. So she didn't want to catch anything from me. So like what's usually like the staff office became just Mark's office. And so I had the space that was to myself. It was awesome. Like people would knock on the door and I'd just cough. I'd be like, hold on. And they're like, oh, no, we're good. I'll text you. I was like, I didn't even have to go all the way back up to my room to like find a space that was just mine. It was awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But I like it.
Good.
That is the beauty of the Rennie as well. And again, I think there's, you know, two schools of thought, definitely. But I don't think I've met anybody yet who has stayed in a very, very close hotel and the Rennie, who's able to really kind of give us a balance because we've only stayed at the Rennie. I know Ken and Tanya really swore by the hotel they stayed at down the road, and I know I think Ken practically timed it, and he probably got back to his other hotel and into his room quicker than we did, and we left the convention all at the same time. So there is that, but of course, without being able to put a finger on it, they also didn't stay at the Rennie, so we can't say It's difficult to have that unless you've done both, you know. So I don't think. Look, I don't really want to get into that, other than the fact that going back to what you guys were just saying about just having that safe space without being too far away from the maddening crowd, but far enough away that you can kind of have your own space and be left to it. And I just found, same as Slurpy, I was dipping back to the room from time to time, and you'd sometimes have your best interactions then because you'd be in the lift and someone would pop in or out, and or you'd be walking the hallway and someone would see, and it just seemed to happen then when you were probably least expecting it. But for some reason, it always just seemed that much more, you know, realistic and genuine because it was kind of like, oh, are you? Yeah, you're so and so, and it's like, you know, it goes from there, like, you know. So, but no, fantastic.
100%. I have an ambassador pin. Whatever. What is that? Marriott. Marriott ambassador pin, so I can go through the back of house to get to the elevator, which is like there's certain times of day, especially where it's just absolutely necessary. For me to get to my room quickly, there's no way I can get down that hallway from the convention center to the elevator without being stopped 1,000 times. So I typically go through the back of the house this year. And part of this is a huge shout out to my staff because things ran so smoothly this year for the smoothest we ever run. It felt not breezy, but it felt like, it just definitely felt like we know what we're doing. We've got our responsibilities in the right places. We've got enough coverage. We've got this. We've got that. So there were not only could I wanted to go down that hallway and interact with people because I spend so much time behind the scenes. It is nice to be able to get out there. And I'm not even joking. When it comes down to beer pong, it's going to have to be at like 1 a.m. on either Thursday or Friday, because that's usually when I kind of finally am done and can kind of decompress and like go out to the floor. And one thing I will say for people this year is that once I was on the floor and I had my Sox jersey on and my Sox hat and was just at my display, like people generally left me alone, which was nice because it hasn't been the case in the past. So it was just a really good, like the more people I know, the more people do this again and again, like the less fires there are to put out, knock on wood. And like the easier it is for like me personally to be able to enjoy the show as an AFOL and not just like BrickWorld Mark with the C.
No, absolutely.
Martin, there you are, Oaktown. He stayed at the Rennie and
of course he has, yeah. So Oaktown, you've probably got the height of experience in terms of where one should stay, but we won't get into that now because obviously, you know, I know there's a relationship between BrickWorld and the Rennie, so
that's fine. We're also out of rooms, so like a bunch of people who come are going to have to stay somewhere else. So I can't really stay at the Rennie because you can't right now unless you already have your reservation.
I was just about to say, we'll find out a little bit more about that next. But before that, before Ken has to move on, just sent him this question in from him. So I don't know whether that's something maybe you want to reach out to him privately about, or whether there is a process for something like that. I don't know. Do you see the question, Mark?
I do.
Yeah.
I pulled it up here. I pulled up our sponsorship document. And then I realized it might be a little bit. Oh, and my let's see, my comment failed for some reason. Email me at mark@brickworld.com, Brick Dynasty, and I will send you our sponsorship documentation. This is last year's information. I don't have it updated for this year yet, but we can also just have a conversation about what kind of level you're thinking about, or like I would say this cross promotion sponsorship is always free. You promote me, I'll promote you. That goes for ads on the video wall, socials, and literally like flyers at the exit table. Like if you can promote the show locally, I'll promote your business locally, whatever. But that's sort of like the cross promotion stuff is just, we just barter for that sort of thing. Anything bigger than that, I certainly have tiers of sponsorship that we can discuss depending on what you're interested in, for sure.
Well, so I don't know whether Ken has reached out to you about this, but I know what Ken is hoping to do next year. And I guess I could probably ask a question on his behalf. So
is this the giant mock?
No.
Oh, okay, then no. Okay, I'll shut up.
All right.
Sorry.
So I didn't actually know about that. So that one's that's really interesting. But he has got an app that he wants. Well, he's launched an app, and it's been going for a while now. So the app is like, unfortunately, we can't get it in the UK, so I can't tell you from a user point of view, but I can tell you from as much as I've gathered. And apologies, Ken, if you listen, and I completely destroy this, but it's like a shopping app for Lego sets, but it's kind of, the truest version that you can get, where it's like real time, and it's better than it's kind of like the Walmart. So basically, if you're looking for a particular set in your area, it can localize that, and you can say, like, I'm looking for, let's say, for example, what am I looking at? Look at this set here, right?
You're looking for a Lego Friends set or something like that, and it's like,
yeah, you're looking for a random set like that. You type in, I believe, the set number, and it'll tell you in your local area where it's available, what the stock is, and of course, within reason, if there's one left, the chances might be that you have to. So anyway, that's essentially what the app does, and then obviously there's different levels of purchase power within it. Now, he wants to promote that app at BrickWorld. And he just wants to know what the best, like, he reached out to people to try. And I said to him, look, I've got no ideas in terms of stuff like that, because I don't know what's allowed, what would look good. And I don't have any kind of experience in that kind of thing. But in terms of promoting, as in being a hype guy, talking about things, engaging with people, being able to, talk the talk and sell it, then I'm your guy. So what I would say to Ken is, if I do end up going next year and you need somebody to run the table, because I know Ken is not as much confident in that particular level, I said, look, I'm happy to spend a day, half a day, an hour, whatever it is you want, for me to be on that table or that location and try and promote it to people, as long as I know as much as I need to know. So whether he wants to take me up on that, I don't know, because obviously I don't even know if I'm going yet. But he was looking for a way, what the best way to be. And I know he's mentioned in a couple of his streams, so he asked Tyler about it. So he's looking for a way, how would that look? What's the best way for that to look at BrickWorld?
Yeah, I can definitely
he's
have
worried
a conversation.
that if he just has a table with some flyers and maybe like a laptop on it, there's no kind of, come and look at this kind of thing,
Yeah. We can definitely have a conversation about that for sure. And it's definitely the way to do it is like through sponsorship. That's one of the biggest problems we have every year at the show, is that there's certain tax laws and rules for being able to sell stuff to the public. And like people just kind of have an inkling in their head that they can just promote or sell anything that they want from their display table, and that's not the case. You need to be under our insurance, and we need to have a certain amount of information from you about your business. So if you're just selling things on the side, you might not even have that, and so we can't allow people to do that. And that's when people miss. Like, we even have it as a check mark. Like, you can't register unless you check that you understand this. Again, put words out there. People aren't necessarily going to read them, but at least we can point to, say, you agreed to this, get this out of here, that sort of thing. And plus, like, there's space for that stuff to happen as well. So it's just like, that is, we want to make sure that the Lego creations are the main attraction. That's what we're using that display space for, and then we can put anything else with vendors or sponsors. So yeah, absolutely, Brick Dynasty is going about it the right way for sure. And we can email me at mark@brickworld.com, and we can definitely have a conversation in the coming weeks about the best way to do that, if that is indeed what you're looking for.
Yeah,
which sounds like
I don't know whether he's necessarily. I guess he effectively would selling it, but I think it's more promoting it, and then obviously if you can get people to sign up for the app at the event, then great. But that would be just kind of like, canvassing people, I think, that kind of thing. But definitely, that's still classed as selling a service, I guess. It comes under the same thing.
All sorts of steps in that process if we are going to allow anything like that at BrickWorld. So
yeah, I was going to say that's news to me, because I definitely didn't go to any illegal garage sales last year.
Oh yeah.
And that's why they happen in the lobby. I no jurisdiction over the lobby. Yeah,
I don't know. Sorry, I know nothing.
I know about it, and it happens in the lobby. So,
it's a free product, Ken saying. So maybe
where I got that beauty from.
Nice. I must be sorry, Ken. I thought it was like $5 a month.
No, the app's free.
Right, the app is free, right? Okay, so well, there you go. Anyway, like I've said, it's not our business to kind of get involved with. I just thought, since we've got Mark, we may as well help.
Facilitate the conversation.
Ken. So you guys can kind of hopefully pair that up now, and you can
look forward to talking to him about it.
Better. Yep. But no, so like stuff like that as well. I think because when you were saying about like what is there for people to do, and I think I didn't. I mean, we'd been hyped. We'd hyped it to the max. We'd had people on who'd been there, and we still managed to be surprised every hour of every day we were there in terms of what was there that nobody had talked about. And also, I think the biggest shock for us, and I think people have kind of been misunderstood the way I've kind of portrayed this, but we made a lot of our own memories, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
So I can come on here and do a hype stream about BrickWorld.
Yeah.
Talk about things that nobody else, within reason, I guess, that I know of at least, has talked about, and places to go and eat, and what to do and what to avoid. And I feel like we've done a little bit of that with like the kids event, for example. I'd never heard of any of those kind of things. So I was like, we're going to continue to do that. So obviously the more in the know we can be about this event, the better. But like you said, it was great to get you on before BrickWorld, although, it was just a kind of fly-in visit. But, the fact that we've got you back here now, mate, we could probably fill like 10 streams with the amount, because it's just such a, the whole thing has been such an inspiring thing for us to,
Awesome.
I'm speaking for the three of us, but to be able to get to that point and go there and now work towards potentially going every year is like, is our life goal. And this is
that's a lot.
If anyone wants,
I do want to make a point, right? And I know you two are going to hate me for saying this, right? But I just want Mark to know. Oh, he's gone. Oh, he's back. Basically, like, these two are going to laugh now. Unfortunately, last year I wasn't well, okay, at the convention, right? Yeah, look, see, it's a joke, right? Because I was actually quite poorly with esophagitis.
Yeah.
But I still had.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, actually, someone remembers. But I still had such a lovely time, and that's why I'm coming back next year. So
that's awesome. Yeah, that was.
Well, Matt,
what a time to get something like that.
And look at everything he achieved.
Who what?
Matt was medically unwell, and look at everything he achieved.
What? And
that was the worst timing.
I still had a great so and that's why I'm going back next year, because I thought, well, if I had a great time then, not being great, imagine what it'd be like next year. So
and I know what a huge like investment that is for people who come from overseas. Like the convention, the early days of BrickWorld, like it brought people in from all over the country, but it was very Midwest focused. I mean, it's just easier for people. Like, and we had 3 lugs in the area that were like supporting the show that the Bonhams knew, and Adam Tucker knew because he lived here in Chicago. And so it was easy to populate it with those people, and we all already kind of knew each other. And so like even in the second year, we had people coming from all over the world for it. And so that as that continues, like I wish we could control any of the other costs that you guys have, because of the flight and the hotel, and like people are staying for multiple weeks and like having longer vacations, and just like I appreciate the investment that it takes for you guys to get to this show. And people talking about coming to it every year. Like if I make it to like Scareback once, it'll be a miracle, like for me finding the time. But like I can't imagine making that international trip every year for the event. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. That's just amazing to me.
It is worth it. I mean, even though it's
cool,
quite, pricey, but at the end of the day, it's more worth it than like 2 weeks in Spain or something like that. It's definitely
100%.
I mean, because
100%.
like I said before, I mean, actually, a week before we went, the doctor advised me not to go, but I'm like, no, I've saved all this money. There's no way I'm going.
Oh, you were so devastated, like, and it was
I was quite
and I think before. Like, obviously I had like a tremendous time, but like if it wasn't for like Whittakee and Cool Han, like I probably wouldn't have went. And it's like, right, if Whittakee doesn't go, it's already like my kind of love or excitement has kind of dipped, because it was a big part of it was meeting these 2 lads.
Yeah.
And I was like, no way, I've saved all this money all this year, I'm going.
Yeah.
That's really sticking it to it.
But we had a lot of help
as well.
We had like a lot of support from like the Americans too, like chauffeuring us around, showing us the places and all too. Like
such a friendly community.
That's awesome.
It made us feel very, very welcome. It was really made a lot of friends over there, and just great.
Did you guys get to go to downtown Chicago at all? See any of the touristy stuff? Okay.
We didn't see the bean.
Forbidden.
You were forbidden.
Yeah,
I was forbidden because Kirsty didn't like the idea of me going to an American state that she hadn't been to.
Oh,
Without her. So she said, "Look, enjoy BrickWorld, but don't enjoy Chicago as a whole because we want to do that separately
together." Yeah,
we went out a few times, didn't we? We went out down to the mall and stuff, and to the
we definitely left. We definitely left the area a couple of
That's
times.
Schaumburg.
Yeah,
That's Schaumburg. You went to the Cheesecake Factory. That's not a Chicago landmark.
No, but that was all I could eat, so that's why I went there.
Oh God, yeah, of course. Yeah, I heard you on the stream the week before, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I was very.
Remember how bad your voice was? Oh, I'd never even heard of that type of infection.
And then I think the day before, I went to a different doctor, and he said, "Well, as long as you're careful, I can't see why you can't go." Right, I was off. That was it. Yeah, I'm going.
Like they were going to stop you anyway. But...
He just needed someone to tell him what he wanted to hear. 99 of her doctors were like, "Don't go, you're gonna die." And then this one, like crack alley doctor is like, "Give me £10 and I'll fucking get the fuck out of here. You're a
And meanwhile, I'm there flying.
I've been saving up for a year and stuff, and it's like, no way am I not going.
Meanwhile, I'm on the flight with him next to him, where he looks like he's
he thought
about
I died
to take his last breath on a plane, and I was like, "Oh, imagine the paperwork." But I just want to show off. I mean, this got a lot. This is probably the highest at the time, the highest post on my Instagram that I ever got, and just showing this off.
Dear
this
Lord,
is everything I brought back. I mean, a lot of that is kind of, there's some other bits and pieces I bought for myself, but a lot of that is kind of stuff that we exchanged. I'd say like more than 50% of that is stuff we exchanged between the Sig Fig thing, and that doesn't get enough. Again, this is something that I was aware of, but I don't feel like it'd been hyped up to me to the point where I wasn't aware of how big a thing it was.
Yeah.
And this is something we discovered for ourselves kind of there in terms of what people exchange and what goes into it. And that was phenomenal.
We had to pay extra, didn't we, for taking things home with us?
Yeah, we ended up paying for an extra suitcase just to be able to get it back.
That is missing. Your lightsaber.
No, it is there, mate.
It's up in the center.
Everything.
Yeah,
I can see it.
Yeah, but that, and I think there's one. I mean, I pretty much got all my pictures here from BrickWorld, but there's one other picture that I'm trying to remember where it is.
Do you know what the best thing that I brought back with?
What's that?
My memories.
That's awesome.
Have I even got a picture of it? I don't know if I have.
Well,
Got a picture of
Debbie.
Ken. No, that wasn't a. No, I don't. Weirdly, I don't have a picture of it, but it's basically us getting to do a stream from the stage, essentially.
It's in our intro. I could probably
screen cap it real fast.
Wait, I had a funny feeling you were going to bring up that picture where we were in the back of his car, where I looked like being half dead.
This is the closest I can get. So this is Slurpy. Look, I, you might not think it from the way I tend to run the shows, but when I was there, I made a conscious effort to make sure that when we were on that stage, that it wasn't just the three of us, and that we got to kind of get the guys up and get involved in it a little bit. I don't know where that idea came from, but we started the show off, the three of us, and we were on there for only about 20 minutes, the three of us, and then it was like, right, we was musical chairs then, get some of the other hosts on, get some of guests on who've been on before, who've not been on before, give everybody a chance to, and even at one point, I think Ken from Brick Dynasty was in the hot seat chair, and he had two guys who'd never been on the show before, and I was like, this was really fulfilling to me to see our show being broadcast from BrickWorld live to YouTube, but a good friend of the show who's not even a host hosting it with two, and it was just like this is it, and I got to actually enjoy the experience of it from both sides, which is basically what I wanted to do. Same with every other part. I wanted to be able to experience it from both sides. So being there in the crowd watching our show being broadcast with different people on there was just great, and that was like, again, huge tick, because I can say now, again, I was speaking to this girl at this event, and I said, yeah, we went to BrickWorld. She went, I can't believe we went to BrickWorld. So yeah, we did 2 episodes of our show from there. She went, what, you actually on a stream from there as well? She went, what, did they let you do that, like in the hallways and stuff? I was like, no, on the actual live stage, the BrickWorld stage.
Free in the end.
Oh my God, I can't believe you did that. She's blown away by it. Like, and it's like, Yeah, I'm a rock star now.
This was I was on stage just before this bit, and I was really looking forward to being on with these two, and then he kicked me off.
Oh yeah, well, Whittakee's one of those people. It's just see, there's me saying that it was all about the other people, but for Whittakee, it was just all about him.
It was.
All about him.
Why not?
I wish I could find out. I don't know if there was like a sign up list or whatever for the streams, but there were like other people streaming who I had no clue who they were. Like I recognized when Austiff did his stream in ACOB and all, but there was these like was it Dino guys or something like we're going to do a stream about dinosaurs or something. I was like, what?
Question, please, Mark.
Do you bring a flag to every country you go to?
Who doesn't?
Aye.
And I mean specifically, who doesn't bring a Welsh flag with them to every country they go to? What kind of question is that even?
Me.
Well, I
guess
was
me
thinking
too.
as well. Another thing for me as well. Another big. I wouldn't say it was a big tick, but another again fulfillment in terms of not just going to the event, but how you able to. Because I remember I spoke to Jen from Gen Builds, and we connected in the community prior to that. She was part of the 48-hour charity stream that we did.
Oh,
And
Jen
she
Feeney?
reached out. I don't actually know her surname.
Okay.
She started on Instagram, Jen Builds. Oh, have I got her?
Oh, I'm mixing her up with
Muggies.
Feeney Family Builds. No, it's not Jen Feeney. Never mind.
No,
Sorry,
no,
I interrupted.
Jen Builds. But she's anyway, so she reached out to me while we were there. I think it might have been after we'd done the first stream. And she reached out to me and said, like, how do I get to do a stream? And I was like, look, I've got Mark's number because I don't know how, but somehow I ended up with your number, your phone number. I think maybe Sean gave it to me or something, or you gave it to me, I think, whatever. And I was like, look, I've got his number, but I'm not going to give it out to all and sundry. However, you can get in contact with Mark through whoever, speak to him, see if he. And then, of course, next thing I know, she's like, thank you very much. I managed to get hold of Mark. We're doing our sip and builds on the stage. And it was like, great. And I was there and I was watching it. So
That was awesome. Yes, I remember running into her. And Slurpy, to answer your question, anybody else watching, Sean runs the schedule.
Yeah.
And so if you can find Sean and like, just even if you just want to have a conversation with him and like, how did you choose these people? Can I get a slot? He leaves slots open so that people can sneak in. I was on her stream that night, actually, Gen Build. So we got her in like a couple hours before she was going to go live. And she was so grateful. And she was just like, I can't believe I get to be on the stage. And I was like, oh. But that's what Sean does. And what I really appreciate about Sean being the coordinator for that area is he makes sure it's not just like the big names. You got other people up there who are like, who are looking for an audience or who are building their audience or who don't really have an audience yet. Like, I really appreciate that about him, that he's getting it. It's for everybody. It's not just for the people with the 1 million followers. To be up there. Otherwise I wouldn't be up there. We only have 1,000 subscribers to the YouTube channel for BrickWorld. So yeah.
Well, I think in to further what Slurpy was talking about, because I knew you told me that Sean was running it, and I think that might have been when you gave me your number. But I saw Sean and he was like, yeah, when do you want to go on? I said this time and then also on the Sunday. And he's like, yeah, great, no problem. You can do it. But what I think was I wouldn't say it was the issue, because again, I don't want it to sound like, people should be doing more, but because we didn't know like when the next person was on. So there was one point where I was actually away from the stage when our stream was running. Yeah. And some guys came down. As it happens, it was Austiff, so it was fine. There was no issue. But Austiff kind of rocked up to the stage 10 minutes before he's about to go on. And we're like, whoa, we got to try and close the show. And you've got to set up. He was expecting the stage to be empty. So it was more of a like, right, where is how big is our slot? Because I think a lot of people just kind of, especially shows like ours, we get on and we just start getting carried away and we think we've just got forever. So, yeah. So I think it was more like to do with that. But I definitely would say, and I think I gave this feedback to Sean. If I haven't, I apologize. But for a schedule to be up for viewers, if that makes sense. And again, that's something he could run or put on the app or whatever for people to know, when their slot ends, but also for people who are just passing and want to kind of soak up a stream, they know who is on at what given time. I think that was probably more what you were alluding to, right, Slurpy?
Yeah, definitely.
That's definitely one of the things that fell through the cracks that last week where I had COVID. I was like in the middle of the last week before the show, I suddenly like accidentally sleeping 12 hours a day. I was like, oh my God, why COVID? Why now?
Yeah. But no, like I said, but again, I know what goes into these events, so it's not. And I've been sort of caught out, and I'll apologize to Mark now, because I know when we got back, a couple of things were said in some of the streams, and I had people reach out to me privately and say, I think one person in particular was like, they sent me a private message after the stream and said, you don't realize how much work Mark puts into these events when you're giving when you're saying things like that. And I'm like, why? I never said anything negative. I was just giving balanced feedback. And of course, I've had that conversation with the people who were relevant to it. And in this case, it wasn't Mark, so therefore I didn't have that conversation with him. But it was more to do with, like, we said like 100 amazing things about the event. And then we were like, well, if, one thing we did get a little bit confused with is this or that. And we've probably mentioned them now on the stream anyway. But I think a lot of people took that as, oh, you're bagging on the event. And I was like, no, we promoted the thing for weeks beforehand, and we'll continue to do that whether we go or not. That's not the case at all. So if you'd heard any of that, obviously it was taken out of context. So that's not the case at all. But
it's totally fine. That stuff rolls off my back anyway. It's going to happen. We know damn well we're not perfect. And yeah, we put a lot of work into the show. But there's always room for improvement, and it does help to know where people want new stuff or can see improvement themselves, because we're not out there. We're not living that experience. We're living a very different experience when we're working the show. And so we mostly only have our perspective for it. So when we're hearing feedback and it's consistent, we're working hard, and we need to be working smart as well. And so the more we know about how we can improve the show for people, we certainly appreciate. I will say one thing that I'm worried about in the Lego community itself is the way that influencing has become, like, content creation has become like, I'll get more clicks if I'm negative about things. And kind of following that slippery slope of like I find everything negative, and I'm going to rant about things. And this is nothing against Hive, because Hive's brand is ranting. But I think like it's causing sort of a not necessarily disingenuous, but maybe not fully thought out the way people are attacking the brand itself. I'm just saying Lego even. Like certainly it's happened to BrickWorld. But Lego itself is like, if you were a new Lego fan and you found, like, I would say a solid percentage of some of like the influencers that are out there now, you'd be like, do these people even like this brand?
I know.
You find this in everything now with films, with anything. It's just very negative, and I'm actually fed up with it, to be honest. So
yeah, and we do it ourselves on our stream. Like, we'll look through. I mean, we rip on the lifestyle shots. Yes, we're always going to have negative reactions to the lifestyle shots. But I find ourselves even like doing the products, and yeah, Lego's hitting a lot out of left field right now. So this does not, like, the fish tank does not qualify for the discussion. What the hell is going on with that thing? But we do it quite a bit.
Yeah.
I seen that, and I was
I'd
just like,
rather listen to the fish tank now than the bleeding Death Star anymore.
I seen the
you were the first person to say it, though, mate. So that's
Death
it.
Slice.
I seen the fish tank, and I just was like, I just closed it, and I'm going to like this.
Because I mentioned
you
it,
brought
I
it up.
put that out then. There you go, because I mentioned it.
But that's the thing, is like, there's joy in this hobby, and like it may not get you clicks, but it's certainly something that I think that, like, if you're out there creating content, that's like your responsibility for the balance. Like you said 1,000 positive things about BrickWorld, and you had some critiques, which is totally valid.
Thing. Sometimes I watch something and it's being negative. I just click it off, and I was like, nah, I don't want to listen to that.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think if it's balanced, if you drip in one thing here and there, and of course, if it is, if you happen to be a person who's mostly negative about something, I think there's a time and a place for something like that. But also, if you're prepared to give that feedback directly rather than indirectly, then I think that there's that transparency there. But as an example, one of the things we talked about in that stream, I remember the three of us, I almost remember the conversation where we were like, the only thing, and of course we weren't in the habit of just going down the road of negative, but we jokingly said, because this, stream is effectively like one big joke, but we are quite serious about the guests and what they have to talk about. But I remember saying something along the lines of, we were annoyed, and this is the case, we were annoyed that the hotel block is like this, right? And then the passageway is down here to go towards the BrickWorld convention is.
It's like a mile away.
Exactly. But the lift, where the lifts are, with this end, right? our room was this end of the block, so we had to walk the length of the block.
You had to walk
Down the
underneath
left,
your
walk down.
room a half mile, and then another half mile back to.
Yeah.
And there's a service elevator there. So I don't know why they've never flipped it, because it only makes sense for that to be in the center of the building. And
Well, that's it. And we had that conversation, and so I think the person reached out to me and said, Mark doesn't have control over where the lifts are. I'm like, nobody ever said he did.
Nobody asked Mark to fix that.
We were just my feet were killing me.
Yeah, I appreciate
his burner account.
I appreciate that people want to like stand up for us and that people know how much work we put in, but like at the same time, like, yeah, there's a level of criticism that's certainly welcome. But I think you're right. Like sometimes in just like, there is a lot of like people like confronting these things, as you say, indirectly, where it's just like, if somebody just suddenly like had some sort of Instagram rant where they were just like, the elevators are in a bad spot, and I don't know why BrickWorld lets us do that. Yeah. And I'm just like, well, hi.
Next year, can you build some more lifts, please? We want
email me. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you like to build Lego? Can you build us?
How dare you not build more lifts?
You got enough pieces. Yeah. I think
that kind of stuff is. And not only that, but the chances, it just so happened that our room was probably the furthest from the lift, just by chance.
And the lift is already on the exact opposite side of the building as the. Yeah, trust me, it annoys the crap out of me as well. And I've thought that ever since that's the one thing that's like bad about the Rennie. Maybe a couple other, like if you try to use the vending machines, you might have some trouble using the vending machines. And we've talked to them about that. But yeah, I think the elevator placement is probably the least thought out of that entire layout.
The Slurpy's also got one about the boiled, because of course in America having a kettle in a room is kind of unusual. And so he was having to go down to the restaurant to ask for boiled water to make a cup of tea, and it got to the point where he'd asked so many times that they started charging him for boiled water.
So like for I love tea,
right?
Like black tea, right? So I remember going to the hotel. I'm like, this is not a kettle. This is a coffee maker. So we put water in it to boil it up. Pure bulk, pure stinking. And then I went down to the front desk and kindly asked, "Do you guys, happen to have a kettle?" It's like, we cannot provide that. It's like, right, I'll go up but he recommended me to go to the restaurant. Yeah. And then I went there and I says, "Can I have boiling water?" And they said, "We can't give boiling water, only hot water." And I'm like, I'm getting lower and lower every time.
Right.
But after a while, Starbucks started charging me.
But hold on. Wasn't that the only time they charged you? Wasn't that when it
was Saturday?
It was on the
as soon as it went public
day. Yeah, the public days.
Oh, right.
Because I went down later on after it's the public days are finished, and it was free.
Well, they have those like electronic steeping kettles that you can just like, you probably pick one up at Target. Plus, they have like, this is probably, you might not like this, but they have those goofy ass Keurig pods in the rooms. You can go get some black tea pods from Target or any grocery store around there and do it that way.
I
think for us, it was.
I know, that's why I'm just like, I don't know how.
It was just such an adjustment, and again, we're not looking for you to fix this, and we never were. But I think these are the kind of conversations we were having in this particular stream where it was pipe. Oh, this is annoying.
Cool Han.
Pipe.
Yeah.
Someone's going to message me and be like, "Mark does his best to make sure the Starbucks gives hot water on." Like, how dare you?
That Starbucks is insane. It closes at 2 p.m. every day.
Oh, I hated it. I felt so bad, but at the same time, I always walk
travel kettle. Take a travel kettle, mate. Next time.
Yeah.
They also charging me $2.40 for one banana.
Oh yeah, Lord! I would say try going to the if you need that next time. If you don't bring a travel kettle, go to the bar and ask them for hot water. They should be able to pour you just hot water at the bar instead of Starbucks.
But even that he would complain, because if you're in the UK and somebody tells you want a cup of tea with hot water, they throw it at you.
Yeah,
it's got to be boiling water for a cup of tea.
There's not as much.
It's
like serving you cold coffee.
So, I was taking cups
I don't drink coffee
and heating them up in the microwave. So
yeah, that'll.
But anyway, that's the kind of
silly.
thing that went on for a while afterwards. I mean, we BrickWorld was top of the agenda for our stream for weeks afterwards, and we never even got to the point where we were bored of it, like we have the Death Star. So Evening,
Yeah,
bearded.
I appreciate that a lot. I do notice that there, there's a couple streams. You're one of them that seem to bring up BrickWorld in some respect every time I watch. I probably watch.
Amazing, mate. That's why.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm not saying that.
Well, this is we want to get our next goal in terms of,
sure.
or my next goal in terms of another big tick for me in terms of this community and everything is for just one person, doesn't matter who they are, to say, I've decided I'm going to BrickWorld because of watching you guys' stream. And that's it. I can die happy then. Like, right, done. I've done everything I need to do.
Awesome.
But it only takes one person. Do you know what I mean? I mean, of course,
Yeah.
like I said, we went because of ACOB, I guess, essentially. I don't mind saying that. But
no, yeah, a lot of people do.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah,
we've got to keep those ripples going out, so.
I mean, let's be honest, if it weren't for ACOB, we wouldn't have met each other either. So
yeah.
Well, absolutely.
Just
but we've got to keep that going. It's our job to keep that going now, we keep that mantle going, so.
It's just weird for me. Like, I've been in the Lego community for since 2010, like online, like Eurobricks, Flickr, and all that. But it wasn't until ACOB where it was. I was a lurker because I was a child. I don't think I was able to make an account, and but I eventually made an account in like 2013 or 14, and but it wasn't until like ACOB where I was like getting a bit more involved and stuff with it. So it's been tremendous.
No, it's been good. And making those guys kind of like, the spokespeople for the event, I think is probably one of the best power moves you could have done as well, because, they got that kind of connection to the people. So
they were already doing it.
Yeah,
it's like they asked if they could be the official host. I'm like, you're already there. Like, all it needs is a title. Like, of course.
So we just need to find a convention who wants us to be the official hosts now, and then that'll be another big tick. But
right. We can always rotate.
Good night, Sarah.
And
happy birthday, and good evening to Jedi Master Bricks, one of the good friend of the show, a good friend of ours. And I turned 30, I believe, yesterday. I want to say yesterday.
I think it was yesterday. 30-year-old
so, happy 30th.
Must
Luke.
be nice.
But, and also because it wouldn't be a stream without it. We're going to start closing it down very shortly, but we can't go without playing the super chats for all the people who did pop in during the show. So first and foremost, Murtley, this is for you, mate.
Saul makes 10. 10 ought to do it, don't you think? You think we need one more? You think we need one more? All right, we'll get one more.
That didn't make sense to Mark. It did say in the corner buying battle packs, but and then for the two lads.
G'day. Want a cold one?
Who the hell are you?
Call me Nugget. I've been looking for Walter Riley. Haven't seen him around, have you?
You should have bought a gun instead of a beer, mate.
Nah, I don't need a gun. I've got a donk.
You've got a what?
Donk. Oh, I still like that punch sound. It's so great. Someone try and clip that so we can upload it as a sound. It's just so crisp.
That is such a funny.
Not that great. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the sound That's the sound you'll hear from me next year if I go to BrickWorld every time someone mentions a Death Star. I'll just carry around bearded with me, like every time someone says that Death Star, right? Get him. Oh, awesome. Or if Whittakee says anything about being unwell.
Yeah. Well, that's justified.
Yeah. I'll make you unwell. But yeah, no. So look, guys, any burning if you're still in the chat, thanks for riding with us this long. Any burning questions for Mark when he gets back from his 8th piss break, then we can send him his way. But other than that,
I said I needed to get off at 10. So
yeah, well, we'll roll it out.
Yeah.
But before we go though, can I ask the 2 questions that I've been asking everybody?
Absolutely, mate. Go for it.
Yeah. So Mark, I've been asking 2 questions for everyone, just to get it be ending soon. A survey almost sort of. So if you had a choice of either nice box art, so instead of the black box art, nice box art. This is all over every Lego set, not just Star Wars. or paper instructions, which one would you rather have?
I think I'd be fine with the box art over paper instructions. I'd be good with digital instructions.
Okay, cool. That's thinking a bit. And the next one is this for the figures is either arm printing only or jaw molded legs only.
I'm probably gonna be a minority on this one, but arm printing.
No, that's a majority, to be honest with you.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I like my bros with some tatted arms.
Cool.
I'm definitely gonna clip that punching sound for you, Martin. I'm gonna use that on my stream for sure. It's a great sound. We found sound effects in StreamYard a couple weeks ago and just played with them for a good 5 minutes.
Be careful when you update your own, because we straight away got excited and started uploading a few of our own, and they corrupted the stream so badly that we had to close it and start a new one.
Really, I wonder why.
Yeah, that was that one.
But that was literally the day I think that they'd introduced it. So I don't know whether they pressed.
Okay.
I think it was the farting noise that did it.
Yeah, we got a bit carried away and we just broke the stream. So
that's awesome. Yeah.
I was going to say
before you go.
I was going to say because you mentioned earlier about Slurpee's, stop motion. Has Mark actually ever seen any of them?
Yeah, I have all of them. We put them on the video wall at the expos to promote the Chicago show. So Slurpee's is on there.
No, I meant
Crystal, you've seen, yeah.
Have I seen what?
But have you seen the ones that he's made for this show?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, at least one.
Oh yeah,
because there was a show where you debuted one of yours on it.
Yes.
No. Yes.
Here.
Okay. Yes.
Is it the piano
Blockhead.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
was going to say if you haven't seen that one, this is awesome.
The one with the arrow through the head.
I've got an add-on to that question.
All right.
So being as Slurpee as an award winner, and also that he is ranked number 4 back, which is another stop motion competition in the world.
Nice.
He's ranked number 4th in the world.
Nice.
What does he have to do to get on the judging panel for BrickWorld stop motion?
I don't know. I'm way outside the judging panel.
Yeah.
So you got it's who you know. You know who to talk to. The guy who looks like he's 12. Do you know Tyler and Casey Slurpee?
I only from submitting my film and talking to them about the rules, but I very briefly got in the conversation with them.
Yeah, I don't know how they select their judges.
I know he's the mock builder out of the two.
Yeah,
I know he does like the artwork and stuff. But
so here's my question: why do you want to be on the judging panel for the Brick Film Festival?
He doesn't. I was just asking.
Oh, okay.
For him. I just want to know how many times he has to win before he gets that.
Oh, it might cause a bit of conflict of interest if you want to keep like submitting your work to it. So
yeah, so you won't be.
I do.
Yeah.
I want to submit next year, but unfortunately I'm unable to go, so I'll have to submit.
That's
an international.
Yeah,
but
he promised me he would be going.
Yes, I know. I
would say if you're not, well, you can still submit if you're not going. That's why we do the international.
I'm gonna pretend to be him.
Award. So you can still submit, or if you don't want to submit an entry for the international award, you can reach out to Casey and Tyler and see if they'd be interested in adding you as a judge for the year that you are not going to be there. And not submitting work. Good. Yeah. Perhaps I don't know how it works. Maybe everybody on the panel submits work. I don't know enough about it. I let them have autonomy over that. They've certainly proven that they know what they're doing. So.
But if the recommendation comes to you, you could definitely push the envelope, though, right?
It would never come to me. They know better than that.
There you go, Slurpee. We tried, mate. We tried.
I was trying to infiltrate the brick filming team.
But no, like I said, I think you're at that point at the moment where you're still passionate about the making. I think I'm speaking from the point of view of me, where I'd want to be I'd want to get to the point where I'm judging everything. But that's just me. I think you're more sort of still at that creator level, aren't you?
I was going to say, if he's a judge, he wouldn't be able to put things in, would he? So
no, of course he wouldn't. No, absolutely.
For the
You might
I know
wanna
for the awards coordinators, if they if enough judges agree that the one of the coordinators' work should be nominated, it does get nominated. But they of course are removed from those discussions and they don't get a vote in it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we had 2 of our coordinators over the last couple of years get nominated for BrickWorld Masters. So I mean, they're people who know everybody. They've been there from the beginning, so it's going to happen. And I don't want them to be punished for the job by not being able to be nominated.
Cool.
Smokey, this question's been answered, but yeah, it is going ahead.
I don't think they were here when we talked about it. Yes, 7 p.m. Central tonight. Think Outside the Blocks on our YouTube channel. Special guest, the Brick Babe. Ben and I will be there. I think Brick Dad as well. We'll be doing I didn't build anything this week, unfortunately, but we'll be doing our normal, talking about mocks in the first hour, Lego news in the second hour, and then we're doing our silliness segment in the third hour, which tonight will be about GWPs. Ben has something done for it, I assume. I haven't even done that yet. So I made the thumbnail and I started the stream and I sent out the invitation. So my work here is done.
You can just blame us, mate. Say you were too busy as a guest on another show, and then maybe give us a.
Oh no, there's many other reasons.
Yeah, you were on with that. What was it? That Welsh ACOB.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to understand these 3 guys.
Oh, you're not gonna let. I'm not gonna let that one down.
Do you know that's you've riled Whittakee up from saying that? He's been called Welsh.
Yeah, he's not going next year now.
Oh,
well, I am.
But no, look. Having said that, we need to let Max obviously got other things to do. We all got to get to bed at some point because it's 20 past 10 here. So we're 20 minutes after our apparent 3-hour deadline.
Yeah,
we do the same thing.
But no, look, it's been great to have you on the show, Mark. Finally, as the official guest, and I do
great to be on the show. Thank you.
Appreciate everything you do for the community. A literal pillar in the community, but also, basically the brainchild of, our Mount Everest, essentially. So, yeah, I really appreciate everything that you supply for us in terms of our kind of mecca, if you like.
You're welcome. I certainly appreciate it. I certainly appreciate hearing it. Thank you.
No,
and I know, obviously, the lead up to BrickWorld.
I
know the lead up to BrickWorld is probably your busiest time of year, but would love to get you back on again in some way, shape, or form.
We can do that. Build-up. We can make that happen for sure.
Sorry, Whittakee, I didn't realize you were speaking.
No, that's all right. I was just going to say, I know you don't mind me saying this because we're not the biggest, but I just think it's great that you come on to sort of what I say, small like this, and it's just brilliant. It's just the way you are with the community, and yeah.
I never judge by size.
Good for you then, Whittakee.
Thank you.
Oh,
what's that? I missed that.
No, you have to rewatch it. You have to rewatch it.
Oh, what?
But guys, if you haven't already, check out the link that's pinned, which takes you to Mark's channel, and of course, or the BrickWorld channel, where obviously you can check out his show very shortly. And yeah, hosts and guests, if you're watching this on replay, all of the accounts for Instagram and YouTube are in the description below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell. You won't get pestered by us. It's literally at the moment 1 stream a week. But other than that, we want to try and get those subscriptions up. Our next goal is the 300 mark, but we appreciate every subscription. So thank you guys. And yeah, let's play it out.
All the best. Thank you, everyone.
Yep.